诗歌讽刺问答篇。你肯定来自天国。You must come from heaven. Xiefeng. Mars 01, 2012. Translated by Tsong Long. You smile and talk gently as white clouds from above. You walk quietly as the swinging willow. You are sweet as the spring water, clean and pure. Your love is transparent and pure, flows with fragrance. Your affections are sincere as the lasting spring, greenlands all year round. You kiss freely because you come from heaven. You must come from heaven because you are born of love. You are here only for love and affection. You have come a long way to share love. It is the gentle breeze and the dancing bamboo. Climb to the summit of a hill and my eyes see it. Walk into the valley and my ears hear it. Seeing you, I see flowers and birds. Hearing you, I hear clear spring water in the mountains. Beauty is everywhere. It is all you. You fill my heart with endless joy. You are the source of greatness. I met you in heaven, unforgettable that you are. Like a bee fluttering in a sea of flowers. Life is so beautiful because of your fragrance. Life is so brilliant because I am nurtured by your love. No more wandering, let us return to the faraway place. No more hesitation. Hand in hand, let us return home. Heaven. 仿泰戈尔诗，世界上最远的距离 The furthest distance of all. Shuefeng. Translated by Tsong Long. Is not that we are ignorant of love, but the secular world is a dam that stops rivers from sharing water. Is not that love can't burn, but the gossips and naysayers are sharp, always to cool the flames of passion. It burns, but buried deep within the heart. The furthest distance of all is we have shared love for many years and are together still, but we must separate. I cannot live without you, but must feign not to care and cry bitterly in silence. Is not as simple as I miss you, but the divide is so great that silently we weep, even when together. The furthest distance of all is not the length of the Yangtze River, but that I could not find you, though I searched from source to end. Is not that the Yellow and Yangtze rivers never meet, but when I see your name in Life-Chanuan, I do not see the most precious gift bestowed by God. The furthest distance of all are the trails of two hearts that never converge. I know it is there, but just beyond the shadows. Is like the meteor in flight. If meeting is our fate, we will surely meet in Elysium. The furthest distance of all is the distance between human and celestial. One is on earth, the other is in heaven. 我无异于成功. I pursue no success. Xiefeng. Translated by Tsong Long. I do what I like to do. I follow my inner voice. Let my nature burst like a fully blossomed flower. If God wants me to be a big tree, I will try to extend my hands to the blue sky. If becoming a wildflower is my destiny, I will do my utmost to show my beauty. I'm a stream. Why bother compare with rivers? I'm a little grass. Why compete with a peony for beauty? Everything is part of God's blueprint. No one is noble or humble. Life is just a journey. The sceneries are my guardian angels. Why should I copy others and ignore my nature? Chasing after success is twisting my nature. I don't want to be great, nor do I care success. Every day, I just want to show my true self, no matter what I achieve in the end. I only want a beautiful journey. I'm not a warrior of life, nor a guard of some doctrine. I have no interest in competing with masters. They have their talents. I have my own fun. I just want to be a little bee, flying through the mountains and plains. It feels so good to be ordinary. No longer lift my neck to pretend I'm tall. Tiny bridge, flowing brook, and cottages. Worn road, west wind, and lean horse. Even living in the remotest corner, I will find myself happiness. Let me just live in the quiet small village, having joy with crickets and sparrows. Winter goes, spring comes, feeling the coolness and softness of breeze. Please go after success and greatness. Let me stay in new oasis for life. Take care of each other. 来吧，让我们走在这美丽的路上。 Come and walk on this beautiful way. Xiefeng, March 29, 2009. Come and walk on this beautiful way. This way leads to everlasting life happy. If you want to have a freedom life, come and walk on this way. Come and walk on this wonderful way. All your pains in heart will run away. This way guided by all sages will leads to heaven directly. Come and walk on this miraculous way. Tomorrow a celestial being you will be. All kinds of beautiful sceneries you will see. Kind-hearted people with you all the way. Come and walk on this life a genuine way. Your life will be getting better and better day by day. Lovers dancing and singing night and day. For we are walking on the greatest Creator's way. 出发朝着那自由故乡. Set out towards the hometown of freedom. Xiefeng, March 13, 2012. There is a beautiful place. That is the kingdom of the greatest Creator. The hometown of freedom. Green mountains, clear waters. Warm and sunny all year around. Flowers are blossoming, covering on the hills and yards. Streams flowing, spring tinkling. Willows swaying, bamboos dancing. Kingfishers flying. Happy people singing loud. Never need to struggle for survival. This charming land looks like a picture. White clouds hanging over the mountains. Colorful rainbow appearing and diminishing. Winding paths and peeping green tiles. Harmony and peace can be felt everywhere. The free kingdom in my dream. No stealing, no fighting. No hurting, no gossiping. No suspecting, no cheating. No annoying noises. Not even jealousy, comparison, and complaints. Everything exhibited in beauty. Run away from the prison of human nature. Get away from the sufferings. Life is a flash in the pan. No need to attach to the annoying person or thing. Not worthy to tangle in anything that limits freedom. Boss, wife or kids. King, husband or brothers. Whoever limits my freedom, I will run away. Time is flying like a horse running across a fissure, which I can't afford to waste. When I am alive, I should present my true self. Rules, commandments, morals, dharma are not good, as long as they are bondage. Let me live according to my own will, but within the law of nature. As long as I don't hurt nature, people, and other life beings, whatever I do will please the greatest Creator. Let me go for the free land. When the sun rises in the morning, muddy road, strong storm, wolves, tigers, cliffs will never stop me. If I don't have freedom, am I different from a living corpse? Sweats, tears, and blood droplets might be my company. To get freedom, I'm not afraid to pay any price, even if my body is bruised and thorns are on the way. Not to mention the secular gossips. I don't care people say I'm heartless. I never want to have the tragedies people had before. I'm diligent, kind, and willing to devote myself for the well-being of others, but will not accept anyone's control, enforcement, an attack on my soul. I'm simple, innocent, and long for mutual respect and love, but will not tolerate constant supervision and complaint. I will not live in a place my freedom is controlled. I'm not willing to fight for power and money, and accompanied by people who are short-sighted. I am a pretty flower in the fairyland. Unsophisticated. I'm pure and elegant. The sky of my soul is so blue, without little dust and stain. Let the doctrines enslaving my soul go to the hell. I'm only fascinated by the faraway, picturesque, and harmonious place. That is my free hometown and where I will go. Carry my small baggage. Head forward, no longer look back. No more hesitation and wander. I've chosen the goal and direction. Each step towards the magnificent splendor of life. Set forth towards that hometown of freedom. 请跟随我来. Walking on my way. Dayform Celestial. September 13th, 2006. I come from far away, bring the true news of life way. Following my step night and day, for I'll lead you to heaven to stay. The Chanyuan girls will always be 18, I wrote today. There is deep meaning inside of it lay. All of you come from Women's Bay. Must go back through it for a long life stay. Change your value upside down, like a grass hold earth tightly. Washing Chanyuan girl's feet like washing baby. Your heart will be pure and bright. Please walk on my way. You'll know something in the future by day. I'm crying, my dear. Song for my lovers. Day form, celestial. May 5th, 2006. From Harare to all over the world. From my soul to every lover's heart. In the name of the greatest creator, I miss you. Day and night. My life becomes so colorful. Like a after rain sky rainbow. For all of you I grow younger and younger. Like a stream never stop flow. My lovers, also wisdom humble. They possess exceptional talent, also beautiful. I guess they come from heaven like angel. Spread good news to the people. Name from Ponglai, Jiawa, Lingbo, Wanyan Celestial. Follow Iyun, Inha, Huiying, Jingying Celestial. Hand in hand comes Run Celestial. Beauty Long brings me some lover more. Oh, life genuine like a love sea roar. Each other's love like spring grass fast grow. I cherish the love like my soul. Until we reach Celestial Island's continent. Attachment to the second home, now new oasis for life. Xiefeng. January 10th, 2011. The second home, a paradise on earth, where angels gather and soar freely. A peaceful life in the fairyland, with green mountains and blue waters and clear sky. Far from the bustling world, free of worries and happy, free and merry every day. Without earthly relations, without care and worry, with beauty and pleasure. Around. Without disputes and obstacles, the life is free and easy. All is comfort, peace, auspiciousness, and pleasure. It is like the heavenly kingdom. All fairies in the home are elegant, with endless charms like a dream, with noble character like precious flowers, with rich connotations and light heart. All fairies are handsome, as learned as the master strategist Zhu Gaoyang, civilized in speech and behavior, with great love and gentle feeling. The home is a beautiful picture, with precious plants and rare flowers. The maple bridge, the blue waves, the red flowers and green willows. The boats sailing on the lakes make endless ripples. The emerald peaks extend to the distant horizon. There is wafting fragrance, sparse shades, beautiful flowers, splendid sunshine, and the fragrant path leads to dense groves of flowers and bamboo. The swallows flit to and fro in pairs, the elegant orioles are perched. Together, the cranes and swans are singing. In the moonlit night, melodious music is played, expressing endless love and attachment to the second home. 人生没时间哀怨抱怨. There is no time in life to lament and complain. Xiefeng. February 1st, 2023. Edited by Qin Yu. Forced into the world without our consent. The sun and moon circling above our heads. Birds singing in the day, stars blinking at night. Nature's beauty in all its colors. Reading, the threads of history intertwined. Others' stories, some are full of joy, and some are full of sorrow. What's more, the narration of love stories, lingering and tender. There is also an affair plot that inspires fantasy. As time passes, we reach middle age. Life is full of sweetness and bitterness. Hope and disappointment alternate. Tragedies are everywhere. Life won't always be smooth sailing. Waves crash against the ship's hull. Desperate situations occasionally arise. Heart-wrenching screams for help go unanswered. Helplessness overflowing enough to fill carts. Turning into tears that flow into the river of history. Misunderstandings and misjudgments like thunder and lightning. Tearing rationality apart in the blue sky. It's not a matter of willingness, but a need to keep living. Even if survival is unbearably bitter, we must face the challenges of life with our heads held high. There's no time in life to lament and complain. Striving towards the bright and ideal land. Even when the road is difficult and winding, as long as we keep moving forward, there's always a beautiful place at the turning point. 大家看看朱云川对生命禅院的评论有哪些与事实不符？Please point out any of Zhu Yongchuan's Comments which are inconsistent with the facts of Life Genuine. February 2nd, 2017. Translated by Chinyu and edited by Kair. Below are Zhu Yunchuan's comments. An analysis of the second home of Life Genuine from its founding to its closure. The founding and closure of the second home, herein referred to as Life Genuine, are in fact related to China's current domestic ideological transformation, as I have commented previously. Life Genuine follows the line of Christianity and is an attempt to unify other religions along the same line. The control of Christianity in China was not very strict over the last few years, so Life Genuine was allowed to establish itself and develop. Now the advancement of Christianity is strictly controlled, so Life Genuine has been forcibly disbanded. Life Genuine advocates for the dissolution of families and promotes sexual freedom, which is of interest to a very small group of people in both China and the West. Just as metaphysics of the Wei and Jin dynasties died prematurely by not conforming to Tao, Life Genuine is not in line with the long-term development of human society. It takes an evil path. As with all religions, Life Genuine preaches cosmic mysticism, a manifestation of an incomplete theory. It allows people to shift from the oppression of the secular regime to the oppression of a theocracy. It is not liberating people, but re-enslaving them into another form. True communist societies are based on natural people returning to real humanity, emphasizing the building of families, secular traditions, moral responsibility, allowing what belongs to society to return to it, and returning what belongs to individuals to them, rather than giving up everything only for the extreme selfishness of personal enjoyment. Communism is common creed, and selflessness does not mean extreme publicity, but without any need to be private. Connecting the two extremes of extreme publicity and extreme privacy are Western religious characteristics. Common creed is the denial of extreme publicity and extreme privacy. The first forms of political power entered into from primitive societies were extremely public slave societies. Public ownership is not the most advanced social system, but the most backward. System officials or managers at all levels become slave owners, large or small, and the common people are civilians. Others are regarded as criminals and prisoners of war, and the weak as slaves. Personal identities are defined directly by collective violence without any reason. Life Genuine is in the primitive state of the transition from theocratic power to political power. They cannot establish political power, although they have voluntarily given up violence. After all, the natural law of human history, in the words of Mao Zedong, is that political power grows out of the barrel of a gun. All in all, Life Genuine is not a new human social model, but an unsustainable, theocratic model of primitive public ownership. The reason why it is not sustainable is that it runs in the opposite direction of Tao. More specifically, it deviates from the four great ways. Deviating from the way of the culture. The spiritual understanding of human culture started from ignorance, but has reached the threshold of enlightenment. Humans want to be their own masters, rather than being subservient to mystical gods. Life Genuine reasserts the supremacy of divine power, allowing angels, shepherds, and their tour guide, who was sent by the so-called greatest creator to reap crops in the human world. Pretending to be the authority of truth and violating the heavenly rules of truth cannot be transferred by anyone's will. Deviating from the way of the economy. Economically, the globalization of human society is unstoppable and the worldwide division of labor is imperative, just as is the cooperation of the cells and organs of the human body. Only the distribution of material wealth is extremely uneven. Just as with human cancer cells, private ownership is destructive to human society. Communism does not reject the division of labor and cooperation, but rejects those cancer cells' monopolization of resources. Communism can achieve reasonable allocations of resources and an ecological balance through the establishment of communities with common destinies. Life Genuine chose a rudimentary agricultural civilization in an attempt to establish isolated agricultural economies, Xanadus, which will inevitably lead to material scarcity and become unsustainable. Deviating from the ways of politics and of humanity. In politics, families are the cell bodies that realize social harmony, fairness, justice, efficient organization, and sustainable development. Personal happiness cannot be separated from the assurance of families' spiritual, material, and interpersonal relationships. Management science has proven that a team of 4 to 8 people has the highest efficiency. Life Genuine breaks up small families of 2 to 10 people and tries to build big families of more than 100 people, the equivalent of enterprises. Such an organizational mode will inevitably fall into ethical dilemmas such as management chaos, power being used for personal gain, corruption, profiteering at the public's expense, and is difficult to sustain. Not to mention that it is a factual challenge to the secular regime, deviating from the way of public opinion, demons, and gods. From the perspective of social opinions, it is understandable that everyone pursues happiness and joy. Life Genuine advocates family dissolutions and sexual freedom, but with a small number of men monopolizing so many women, how could most unattached men tolerate this? It would be strange if they were not envious, hateful, and opposed the few successful men desperately. In the 19th century, Hong Xiuquan only allowed sexual freedom for himself and a few other men, but suppressed the legitimate sexual needs of many. This is why he failed. The above text on Life Genuine is not my criticism but my comment, not my opposition, but my analysis. In fact, I mean to point to a way out. I hope I have offered some inspiration to Xiefeng, Chanyuan Celestials, and friends of Life Genuine. 朱云川对生命禅院从创办到被封停的一点分析之读后感。One response to Zhu Yunchuan, an analysis of Life Genuine, from its founding to its closure. Taiji, June 27, 2017. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Kair. From Zhu Yunchuan's closing statement in his article, we can see that his purpose was well met. Life Genuine is an open system, so we absorb and adopt what is correct and discard what is incorrect. Billions of gallons, the sea does hold. For greatness is measured by content. Zhu said that the closures were in fact related to the current domestic ideological transformation. This is correct, but his arguments are somewhat irrelevant. It might be that he has never read our Chanyuan corpus or Xiefeng corpus comprehensively, or that he barely knows that Chanyuan values are fully based upon the thoughts of Jesus, Shakyamuni, and Laozi. For example, the chapters on celestial cultivation, the attainment of Buddhahood, and self-improvement and cultivation, to list just a few, are unlikely to appear in the Christian community. The content of celestial cultivation is always the main line of our theory because as Chanyuan Celestials, we strive to climb to the highest states of life and life. Speaking of the highest state of life, we are to live the goal of happy, joyous, and free ones. Zhu said that Life Genuine advocates sexual freedom and the dissolution of families, but this argument does not hold to the facts. Sexual proliferation and family crises are social phenomena that have existed throughout history and have caused many human tragedies. As rational people, we should face these phenomena properly and seek fair, reasonable, and natural solutions so that everyone can live happy, joyous, and free lives without hurting each other. And this solution is exactly what the new oasis for life's new life mode as created by Life Genuine's guide Xiefeng does. Traditional societies, which Yu holds fast to, include imprisonment, suppression, dominance, and the moral bondage of sex, as well hot and cold wars and domestic violence that occur in traditional families. Are these not the root causes of countless tragic incidents? So, is this traditional model in line with the long-term development of human society, or is the model below more in line with the long-term development of human society? People live freely, including sexually. They do not possess each other, bind, or harm each other. Small families grow into large ones, people get along with each other harmoniously, and women are respected first and foremost. We can understand Zhu's hatred of religion, and Life Genuine also advocates that human ideology should exist apart from religion. So no religious ceremonies or the like are held in Life Genuine, and we resolutely oppose and fight against the concepts of spirits and deities. We only believe in the greatest creator who created the universe and incorporate the teachings of gods, Buddha, and celestials in our actual production and life mode. Regarding the secular regime, we hold an attitude of respect and equality in the Chanyuan values, and it is written clearly that Life Genuine exists harmoniously with the secular government. Life Genuine is only a platform from which mankind can open their thinking toward the spiritual realm. In material world affairs, the secular government has its meaning and value of existence. When the government did something against us because they did not understand us temporarily, we neither resisted nor complained, but just conformed to nature and followed nature as Laozi taught us to. There is no such thing as a shift from the oppression of a secular regime to that of a theocracy, as Xu said. Logically speaking, this does not conform to our outlook on the world or the life and values that we pursue. From Xu's fourth argument, it is clear that he confuses Marx and Engels' communism with Xiefeng-style communism. I will not say too much regarding the phenomena that emerged from the practice and implementation of those earlier systems. About Xu's point of view, allowing what belongs to society to return to society and returning what belongs to individuals, I want to ask, what belongs to society and what belongs to individuals? Life Genuine pursues life values in which no one possesses anything but can use everything that they need. This is neither private ownership nor public ownership, but non-ownership. I want to ask again, are today's world crises not the products of private and public ownership? There are traces of Laozi's thoughts in Xu's interpretation of Common Creed. If Xu wants to analyze more objectively and rationally, he should afford himself an opportunity to visit Life Genuine and experience our lifestyle personally. Perhaps he would find that Chanyuan celestials are just living lives of interconnectedness. It can be found that when people cast their paranoia aside, they can still get the same result by different routes. About Xu's comments on our deviating from the Four Great Ways, it was also a novel summary. We will correct any mistakes that we might have made and guard against them if we have not done so. Honestly, Life Genuine is not an organization, has no authority, and everyone is equal with the right to speak up and protest. The truth of the authority of Guide Xiefeng comes from Chanyuan values, but all are welcome to challenge it. You are welcome to refute the views in Chanyuan Corpus and Xiefeng Corpus, then you can break down what you think is the truth of authority. Xu, I will end this with a sentence from our 800 Values for New Era Human Being. Those who contemplate new solutions with traditional values are reactionaries resting on their laurels. 朱云川的错误 Refuting Xu Yunchuan's comments. Hui Guang. June 27, 2019. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Kair. Life Genuine's purpose is to walk the way of the greatest creator, but this does not mean that it belongs to the line of Christianity. Christianity cannot unify the world, and what we call the greatest creator here with 8 features is not the same as the God known by Christianity. The desire for freedom is human nature. The male and female sexes are natural attributes given to us by the greatest creator. Families are created by people, but they go on to prevent people from enjoying freedom and have a multitude of drawbacks. People recognize this generally and are searching for new ways of life in their progress towards civilization. Mysticism is not suitable for use here because everything in Life Genuine is clear and plain with nothing mysterious. Theocratic oppression is from feudal society, but the author's expression is irrelevant. What the author called theocratic oppression in feudal society is not true theocracy. Gods are the real level of existence, second only to the greatest creator, and they are the advanced lives who manage the universe. They have certain powers, but never oppress lives. Your so-called theocratic oppression is caused by people's ignorance and feudal rule. Life Genuine's new oasis for life is a brand new communist life model with no exploitation or oppression. So what the author said is inconsistent with the facts. True human nature conflicts with family building. Families suppress humanity. Everyone lives for their families. How many will care for their moral obligations? Extreme selfishness for personal enjoyment is the exact, true portrayal of people and families. They always say my home, my spouse, and my child. My everything is first and foremost, while yours and theirs are less important. This is the freedom that the author talks about, but where is the freedom when these are all owned by individuals? One person monopolizes so many beauties, so how could other bachelor men stand for it? It would be strange if they were not envious, hateful, and desperately opposed to them. This does not match the facts. Since the new oasis for life applies communism, there is no exclusivity. The author does not understand the culture of Life Genuine, no investigation, no right to speak. Please investigate first and then speak cautiously. There is much more that I want to say, But let us first talk about these things. 为喜好偷窥者提供写封的基本情况 Personal information of Xiefeng. Xiefeng, March 32012. Translated by Tsong Long and edited by Care. As the founder of Life-Genuine, my role is to reap the ripe crops, initiate the Life-Genuine era for human beings, and lead Chanyuan Celestials to climb the highest realm of life and life. To people who are practicing self-cultivation, your focus should be on whether the road to which I am leading is clear and whether the values I promote are reasonable. My personal background information should not be too important, though I have mentioned some details in my articles, except for my true name and birth date. But there remains some people who are curious about me, so in order to satisfy them, I will reintroduce myself with information that can be verified by anyone. Everything in Life-Genuine is open to public. We are doing nothing mysterious, and there is nothing we wish to hide. As the founder of Life-Genuine, it is reasonable for me to expose everything about myself to the public because I do not want to appear furtive. My legal name on my ID, Zhang Zifan, Zhang Zufan. My birth date on my ID, July 17, 1957. My place of birth was Zhang Village, Lianhua Township, Yongjing County, Gansu Province, China, the intersection of the Yellow River and Disya River. The building of the Lujiaxia Reservoir caused us to relocate and the name of our local administrative area was renamed, so my original birthplace no longer exists. We then moved to Hetan Township, the autonomous county of Dongxiang Tribe, Gansu Province. Gender, male. Height, 172 centimeters, 5 feet 8 inches. Weight, 80 kilograms, 176 pounds. Personal appearance. I have been told that I was a handsome guy. Even now, some people say that I am an old handsome guy. However, some people online said that I am really ugly. No. Middle school. The number 3 middle school of Dongxiang County. Technical college. Plier. Zhangjiago Geological Technical School. Department of Geological Minerals. College. Lanzhou College of Education. Transferred to Zhochuan College of Education. University. Advanced class. Majoring in International Trading, University of International Business and Economics in Beijing, China. Resume, in chronological order. Communist Party Branch Secretary, League Branch Secretary, Administrative Clerk, Accountant of the Production Brigade, in my hometown after I graduated from high school. Technician, Prospecting Team, Geological Mineral Department, Gansu Province. English Teacher, the Children's School for Prospecting Team, Geological Mineral Department, Gansu Province. Drilling Machine and Motorcycle Repairer Dash? The number 3 Hydrology Team in Zhochuan City, Geological Mineral Department. English Teacher Dash? The 2nd Middle School of Geological Mineral Department, Gansu Province. Statistical Officer, Lanzhou Yuzhong Prospecting Machinery Factory, Lanzhou City. Interpreter, a Chinese company in Zimbabwe, Africa. Self-employed, Zimbabwe, before I founded Life-Genuine. I was operating 2 grocery stores, a bar, a club, and a fast food restaurant. Political background, joined the Communist Party of China in 1975 and left the party automatically because of my engagement in overseas businesses. Although I am no longer a member of the Communist Party, I have never changed my faith to devote my life to the realization of it. Family background. I was born and brought up in a poor farming family. My father, a member of the Communist Party of China, he was a very firm believer and practitioner of communism and devoted his full life to it. My mother, a very hardworking and kind farmer and an obedient and capable wife. My wife, she is with me whenever I go and works with me. We change our living places quite often, and she is basically always beside me. She is now a Chanyuan Celestial and lives with me in the community too. Her room is next door to mine. My son, he went to overseas for middle school education when he was 11 and received his university education in USA. He is married now with a Native American girl and legally a citizen of USA. I wanted another child, a girl, but because of the birth control policy, I just have one child. Crime record. I never had any criminal activity and never did anything against law. My record is very clear. Religious background? When I was a child, I used to go to temple with my mother to worship some kind of Chinese gods like the Earth God, King of Dragon God, Erlangshan, etc. I got some knowledge about Taoism from my grandma and a little Buddhism from my mother. I knew some Islam from my Muslim colleague and also a little Hinduism from a few Indian people. I've learnt the Bible with Jehovah's Witnesses for 3 years and had been to the Kingdom Hall from time to time. Master, apart from my teachers of primary school, middle school, technical, school, college, and university, I never formally acknowledged someone as my master. So I don't have a master, and I was not imparted anything from a master. Interest. Music. I composed 2 songs, The Magic Second Home, Now New Oasis for Life, and the school song for Life-Chanuan University. I like to play flute, harmonica, and dulcimer. Nickname. My Chinese language teacher of primary school called me the Phoenix in Heaven and was nicknamed Ancient King of Gusai Air by my students when I was a middle school teacher. I was once jeered by my colleagues, and they called me the half-celestial Zhang. Until now, Chanyuan Celestials called me the cool guide and loving guide. I was also nicknamed Shrew by some people outside Life-Chanuan. Recently, we are building some houses in the 4th branch. My brothers and sisters call me Zhouba Pai. In Chinese, it is used to describe a mean boss or leader. They intentionally called me this because I did a very tight work schedule for dozens of Chanyuan Celestials every day, so that nobody would have an idle moment. Moreover, I use a very loud speaker to play music at 7 o'clock in the morning. Once the music is on, everyone has to get up to work, and no one can sleep late. Hobby. Flirting. I love to joke with my brothers and sisters. I like women. I like almost all women, but I never abandon the old when I have a new lover. This is basically everything about me. If anyone wants to know more, please ask, and I will certainly answer you. 道与上帝之道的区别. The difference between Tao and the way of the greatest creator. Xiefeng. February 12, 2019. Translated by Qin Yu and edited by Kair. Ishian Celestial asked, Dear Guide, I came across a few questions while reading our corpus. As I could not figure them out, I can only ask for your advice. In the article, Where is and How Do We Revere the Greatest Creator? There are several paragraphs. This universe has 20 parallel worlds within 36 dimensional spaces. Where does the greatest creator reside in such a vast universe? The essence of the greatest creator is in the zero world of the 36 dimensional spaces, and the zero world is the node, the 0 point that consists of the 20 parallel worlds, namely, the 0 point of the geometric XYZ axis. This 0 point connects with the 20 parallel worlds and is the command center of the universe as our brains and central nervous systems are to our bodies. Everything in the universe is a manifestation of the consciousness of the greatest creator, which is Tao. This is like everything created on the earth, except for the natural material, is a manifestation of human consciousness. Constitutional law is the embodiment of the collective consciousness of all people. It can be said that human consciousness is constitutional law. Tao is the spirit of the greatest creator, and all things run in Tao and are ultimately dominated by it. Therefore, all things are of the spirit of the greatest creator. That is, all things have spirit. Thus, we conclude that the essence of the greatest creator is in the zero world, but the spirit of the greatest creator is in all things, just as the Chinese president's body is in Zongnanhai in Beijing, but his reach extends throughout China. My questions are: how do we understand the meaning and the relationship among the above-mentioned, the essence of the greatest creator, the consciousness of the greatest creator, and the spirit of the greatest creator? There are 20 parallel worlds and 36 dimensional spaces. Does the universe here refer to the large universe, or the Earth universe, the small universe? If it refers to the Earth universe, then is the essence of the greatest creator in the Earth universe? How to understand the meaning of Tao and the way of the greatest creator? Is there a difference between the two? Xiefeng's answers. The essence of the greatest creator is the non-material structure of its life. Its consciousness is its soul, and its spirit is its energy. These are the 3 constituent elements of the universe: consciousness, structure, and energy. It only refers to the Earth universe, and yes, Tao is the general law and principle of the universe. The main content of the way of the greatest creator is to act in accordance with the creator's intention. That is, to act in accordance with natural principles. 是什么原因促使比干丞相听到这一句话时当时就气绝身亡? What caused Prime Minister Baigan to die? Immediately when he heard Daji's words. Xiefeng. April 29, 2019. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Care. Tianfeng Celestial asked about a part in my corpus that reads, but Baigan died immediately when he heard Daji, who was disguised as a vegetable seller, selling water spinach, heartless vegetables, say, vegetables can live without hearts, but humans must die without them. Why? She asked. Was it because Daji's words blocked his thinking and forced his soul to leave his body? We know that when the soul leaves the body, the latter dies. She wrote further, I want to ask you, dear guide, if Prime Minister Baigan was so powerful that even after his heart was dug out, his consciousness and mental activity still existed and his soul was still attached to his body, then why did he die immediately when he heard what Daji said? Could the reason have been that his thinking power was less powerful than Daji's, or were other reasons such as faith involved? Could it have been that he believed Daji's words, that humans must die without hearts, and doing so caused his mind to be blocked, his soul to leave his body, and him to die? Was it his belief that ultimately killed him? Xiefeng's answer. There were 3 reasons for what happened. Prime Minister Baigan did not know the essence of life, so he was easily fooled by listening to other people's nonsense. His thinking power was not as powerful as Daji's, so he was killed by Daji's power of thinking. He firmly believed that humans cannot live without hearts, and it was that limitation in his thinking that killed him. These were the 3 reasons for his death. 宝贝草请教导游生命篇中几个问题. Chanyuan Celestials asked the guide several questions about the chapter of life. Xiefeng. March 23, 2020. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Care. Treasure Celestial. Genes, the building blocks of life, are seen as the human genome with scientific instruments, are not life's actual essence, but only an expression of the sealed book of life. Question. Can we understand and translate the book of life into the code of life? Answer. The book of life is similar to the code of life, but they are not equal. The former is broad while the latter is narrow. The former is infinite while the later is limited. Yangla Celestial. The chapter of life says that cloning increases the amount of life. Take humans for example. Human bodies consist of trillions of cells. The universe is holographic and so are human bodies. A person can be cloned from any cell from any person. Besides, the consciousness of life is rooted in its structure. As long as its structure does not change, the person cloned possesses the consciousness of the original person. Question. Cloning creates a new physical structure, but if there is no new spirit body to live within it, will this physical structure automatically produce the same consciousness as the original person? Answer. Yes, but cloning is against the way of nature. It is evil, and it will be punished. Yangla Celestial. The chapter of life says that, under the permission and acquiescence of the greatest creator and the leadership of gods, angels began to create lives, especially human ones, according to the life blueprint endowed by him. However, because of the shortage of lower-level spaces of life, this creation destroyed life's balance of symmetry. He then implemented 2 great life extinction events on the earth in which most lives were transferred to the Een world, the Hell world. In this way, many lives were treated unjustly. So in order to balance things out, the greatest creator created the 1,000-year world, 10,000-year world, and the Elysium world. Since then, the quantity of life in the universe has reached its limit, and thus its total quantity was strictly determined. Question. This shows that the births of those 2 worlds were earlier than that of the earth. Is that true? Answer. In the beginning, there were no worlds in the scope of life. Since the archangel became arrogant, the world appeared. Therefore, the 36-dimensional spaces were born at almost the same time. As a star, the Earth must be more recent than the 1,000-year world, 10,000-year world, but humans were not on the Earth in the beginning. 8 Secrets on Life and Samsara, talks about the imprints of life's reincarnation, which says that to ascend our lives to heaven, we must eliminate all the imprints of being a person. My question is, what does the imprints of being a person refer to? Answer: it is the memory of all experiences as a mortal person. The preface of the chapter of life says that, by being careless, human life structures can degrade to those of animals such as dogs and pigs, but by being careful, those same human life structures can change into goblins, spirits, celestial beings, and Buddhas. Question: there is no doubt that when a human's life structure morphs into being an animal, it will have dropped to a lower level, but when it becomes a spirit, goblin, celestial being, or Buddha, will it have ascended to a higher level? I understand that spirits, goblins, celestial beings, and Buddhas are beings at equivalent energy level but at opposite poles. As it is possible for people to cultivate into being spirits and goblins, then my question is, does cultivation into those types represent an upgrade of a life structure? Answer: spirits, goblins, celestial beings, and Buddhas belong to the same level, but they are all higher than people. If a person becomes one of them, then it would be an upgrade of life. 肉体有病者能否去天堂及达入灵草问 Can individuals with physical illnesses reach heaven? A response to the inquiry of ruling celestial. Xiefeng. June 28, 2022. Translation edited by Qin Yu. A human life consists of two parts, the physical body and the spiritual body. The physical body returns to dust while the spiritual body goes either through transmigration to heaven or to other spaces. From this, we understand that it's the spiritual body that goes to heaven, and the physical body cannot. Therefore, even if the physical body is ill or reduced to a mere pile of mud, it does not affect the spiritual body's journey to heaven. The physical body belongs to the material world, adhering to its laws. It originates from the material world and ultimately returns to it. The spiritual body comes from the non-material world and follows its laws, ultimately returning to the non-material world. Any form of life with a physical body will inevitably fall ill and die. In this sense, even saints fall ill, and even saints die. While the spiritual body governs the physical body, it does not mean that consciousness entirely controls the birth, aging, illness, and death of the physical body. Consciousness can only govern the actions of the body, not its metabolism, aging, or illnesses. The health of the body is influenced not only by consciousness and emotions, but also by the laws and rules of the material world, especially uncontrollable factors such as cosmic rays, pollution, food toxins, and so on. Hence, even the sick can journey to heaven. The standard for reaching heaven is the perfection of the spiritual body, not dependent on the health of the physical body. Even those afflicted with terminal illnesses will not affect the perfect spiritual body's journey to heaven. One crucial truth to understand is that the imperfections of the spiritual body directly influence the well-being of the physical body. Psychological and emotional factors such as excessive selfishness, frequent anger, rage, emotional volatility, jealousy, a tendency to compare oneself with others, and other mental and emotional states can impact physical health. In this sense, illnesses often stem from an unhealthy consciousness and psychological flaws. Those who are unwell should remain vigilant and enhance their spiritual practices, paying closer attention to the teachings of gods, Buddhas, and saints. There's a phenomenon to grasp. A person with a pure soul who engages in extensive formless alms-giving but frequently falls ill, enduring physical torment and suffering. This, in fact, is a tremendous occurrence. It's the cosmic arrangement for them to swiftly repay karmic debts from previous lives, enabling them to bypass the suffering of reincarnation and proceed directly to heaven in this life. Another truth to comprehend is that those who enter heaven while ill almost always reach the lowest level of heaven's life space, such as the 1,000-year world. It's challenging for them to reach the intermediate and advanced spaces of heaven, like the 10,000-year world and the Elysium Islands continent. The illness of the physical body is an appearance. Whether a life is truly ill cannot be determined from its appearance. Some people who seemingly ill are actually not, and vice versa. For example, if someone's leg is crippled but, in their dreams, the leg is perfectly fine, then their leg is actually intact, which does not affect the completeness and perfection of their life. nor does it hinder their journey to heaven. The best way for life to end is to peacefully pass away without illness, and the best path to death is to peacefully fall asleep without attachments, never waking up the next day. However, for practitioners, once they know their destination and yearn for it, it's best to control their date of death by using the Life-Genuine meditation method. Some very ordinary individuals are natural seeds of heaven. They come to the world for special reasons. They don't need cultivation, practices, merit accumulation, nor do they need to seek guidance from gods, Buddhas, or saints. They directly go to heaven after death. This is beyond my scope of analysis. I only seek the Chanyuan celestials who were naturally born but have long forgotten their way back. Others are not within my sphere of attention or concern. 角色演得好不好是演员的事，答地球草。Whether an actor performs well is up to the actor. A response to Dicho Celestial. Xiefeng. November 22nd, 2015. Translation edited by Qinyu. Dicho Celestial. Is it predetermined which actor can perform well in a play and who cannot? Can one decide if they can perform well, and is it within their control? If it's up to oneself, does not that mean everyone can perform well in a play and be rewarded to go to heaven? If it's not up to oneself, does that imply everything has already been arranged and one can only follow a set path? Due to my clumsiness, I am here seeking help from the guide. Response. The plot and roles in a script are already determined and standardized. Who plays these roles? It's decided based on an actor's virtues, blessings, character, expertise, and their spiritual level. Who takes on a role is primarily decided by the karmic reward and punishment mechanism of the Tao. The director can select, but it's not entirely at the director's personal discretion. It's determined by the actor's conditions. For instance, if someone cast a play Mao Zedong is too short or too thin, they are not suitable for the role, so the director can only select someone resembling Mao Zedong. As for performing well, it's not determined by the plot or the Tao, nor by the director. It's decided by oneself. For example, portraying a Chanyuan celestial, the script outlines requirements and standards. Whether one can meet these standards is entirely up to the person playing the role. For instance, if the script prohibits one-on-one relationships but the actor insists on doing so, they haven't played the role well. The play hasn't been performed well. Why do the Chanyuan celestials need to eventually reach the state of eightfold liberation? Because only by reaching the state of eightfold liberation can the play be performed well. Otherwise, there will often be omissions. Consistently having omissions will not lead to obtaining immortality, failing to achieve immortality, never realizing one's greatest wishes, and never escaping the cycle of reincarnation. From this, it's clear that an actor's failure to perform a role well is determined by their imperfect self-awareness and imperfect mental state. This cannot be shifted blame to the script, the Tao, or the director. If the performance fails, it's not the fault of the script or the director. It's an individual matter. The world is faultless. All faults lie within us. Success has one reason. Failure has a million reasons. An actor who fails can only find the reasons for failure within themselves. Those who attribute the reasons for their failure to other factors will forever remain failures. Following a set path means following the requirements of the script. When the director wants laughter, the actor must laugh. When the director wants tears, the actor must cry. When the director says go up, the actor must go up. When the director says go down, the actor must go down. If the director asks for laughter, but the actor insists on crying, that's not a good actor. They've initiated their own free will rather than following the script and director's requirements systematically. If everyone could perform their roles well, everyone could go to heaven. The issue is that most people do not perform their roles well because of the weeds in their soul gardens: selfishness, greed, arrogance, and stubbornness. This is why we need to cultivate spiritually. Without spiritual cultivation, it's challenging to perform a role well. 回答草草提问，想姐赚钱就是一种罪恶。Answering Chanyuan Celestial's questions, elaborating on earning money is a sin. Xiefeng. September 8th, 2017. Translation edited by Qinyu. Question. Esteemed guide, recently you mentioned, earning money is a sin. and the more one earns, the greater the sin, which is also stated in the Chanyuan values. I'm a bit puzzled because there seems to be a shift towards striving to accumulate more wealth. Could you clarify this apparent change in perspective regarding earning money? Response: apologies, this proposition might be beyond your current understanding, causing confusion. Let me try to explain, and if it remains unclear, let's postpone discussing it for now. To eradicate the gun, one must wield it. Otherwise, it remains aimed at your head. Earning money is a sin, and the more money one earns, the greater the sin. This represents a macro-strategic concept. In our community where you resided, members no longer engage in the exchange of goods using money. Wouldn't life without monetary exchanges among members be ideal? If you agree, wouldn't it be wonderful if everyone globally adopted our lifestyle? Reintroducing money would lead to a series of troubles, sorrows, and sins. Do you acknowledge the truth in this reasoning? If so, then the concept that earning money is a sin holds true. Will there be money in heaven? Certainly not. In a communist society, currency will cease to exist. Isn't that favorable? Therefore, why do we need to earn money? Because in today's world, whether it's developed countries, countries like China, or even poorer nations, the primary medium for exchanging goods and productivity among people is money, currency. Without money, society would immediately collapse because a mechanism to effectively operate without money has not yet been established. Hence, the entire functioning of society relies on money. In such an environment, if one does not earn money, it's practically impossible for you to go anywhere or to do anything and may even lead to starvation. Therefore, despite knowing that earning money is a sin, we still find ourselves compelled to commit this sin. How do we atone for these sins? Our aim in earning money is not for personal gain, but to invest it in the Life-Genuine era. When the world adopts the Life-Genuine production and lifestyle globally, the entire planet, including people, nature, and other creatures, will benefit. Essentially, we use a portion of sin to establish 9 portions of merit. By doing so, we not only make amends for our sins, but also create an additional 8 parts of merit. Regarding whether earning money is a sin, this can be supported by empirical evidence. The destruction inflicted upon nature, the suffering and oppression people endure for money, and the harm to people's spirits. 这18个问题，若回答不了你就是一个糊涂虫. These 18 questions, if you can't answer them, you're a confused person. Xiefeng. December 25, 2017. Translation edited by Qin Yu. What does the Buddha refer to as the myriad sentient beings? Those who cannot answer these 18 questions belong to the myriad sentient beings. No matter how affluent your life may be, if you cannot answer these 18 questions, you're still a confused person. Where do you come from? Where are you going? Who are you? Why is your middle finger longer than the other 4 fingers? Why do you not have eyes on the back of your head? Why weren't you born into a royal family? Did you choose your parents? If not, then who are your parents? Is there fairness in this world? If yes, why worry? If not, what's the use of being worried? If you're poor, why are you poor? If you're rich, where did your wealth come from? Do you have free will? If yes, where does your free will manifest? What will happen tomorrow? What is the value and meaning of your life? Killing a person requires paying with a life. Does killing a cow require paying with a life? How about killing a monkey? Killing a dog? Killing a chicken, a pig, or an insect? Do invisible things exist? If they do not, then you have no soul because the eyes cannot see the soul. If they do, then there are gods and demons, ghosts and spirits in this world, right? Can you distinguish between good and evil, truth and falsehood? If so, is a cat catching a mouse good or evil? Is the person in the mirror real or fake? Is human nature inherently good or evil? Which came first, the egg or the chicken? Will your children show filial piety to you? Can you confidently say yes or no? 生命起点的迷思，答地球草问. Misconceptions about the origin of life. Response to Dichio celestial question. Xiefeng. October 18th, 2021. Translation edited by Qin Yu. At the inception of life's creation, Some beings were fashioned as advanced life forms, while others were shaped as low-level life forms. The low-level beings served the high-level ones, which seems unfair to the lower ones. Why was I created as a human and not as a deity? A little chick was happily playing in the grass, then suddenly snatched away by a big eagle for dinner. Why? The chick neither flirted with the eagle's mate nor snatched the eagle's sister-in-law. Why be taken away for dinner? A group of bunnies were playing hide and seek when a wolf charged in, grabbed one rabbit, bit it to death, and devoured it. For what reason? The rabbit neither disturbed the wolf's ancestral graves nor pushed a wolf cub off a cliff. Why bite and kill the rabbit? Where is the fairness of the heavenly Tao? A person buys a piece of cloth, cuts it into two pieces. One is used to make a hat, the other for underpants. The piece used for the underpants grumbles, "I was born on the same day as the piece used for the hat." Why does it get to bask in the brilliant sunshine, enjoying the world's wonders, while I, wrapped in trousers, cannot see anything and can only smell the foul odor from behind? Yes, why? One day, by chance, the greatest creator was born. The greatest creator found infinite joy in creation. Hence, the greatest creator created the universe and numerous lives, gods, celestials, but they were not entertaining enough. So, the greatest creator began crafting an uncountable number of lives, humans, animals, plants, and so forth. At the beginning, everything experienced no sorrow, unfairness, or comparison. There was only an instinctive execution of the duties bestowed by the Creator. Ask the rabbits, "Do you harbor resentment towards the wolf?" The rabbits find it odd. What is hatred? Why should we harbor resentment? If you were to tell them that the greatest creator created wolves to eat them and that it's unfair, imagine what the rabbits might think. They wouldn't even consider such a question. Anyone who suggests that the greatest creator is unfair would be considered mentally disturbed. Finally, the second child became furious with their father. "Dad, why do I have to call the eldest elder brother? Why does he not call me elder brother?" The father replied that it's because the elder brother was born before him, hence he should call him elder brother. The second child got even angrier. "Why was my elder brother born before me? That's unfair. Mom and Dad are unjust." Who can answer for this father regarding the second child's question? Why wasn't I born first? Low-level life supports and sustains high-level life. It's the program and mission inherent in life. Besides humans, other life forms never consider the notions of fairness or unfairness, simply following their nature. 人存在的价值探讨，答百川. Discussion on the value of human existence. Reply to Bai Chuan. Xiefeng. November 16th, 202. Translation edited by Qin Yu. Bai Chuan, dear guide, I have a question I'd like to ask you. As we know, low-level life serves high-level life. As a person, how do I serve higher life forms? And how do I know if I am serving well or not? Can we understand it this way? If I'm in a good state, consistently happy and capable of self-adjustment even in challenging situations, striving to approach a serene and splendid state, does that mean I'm serving higher life forms well? Of course, there are more details that are unclear. Answer: Jesus was hungry and saw a fig tree. He wanted to satiate his hunger with fig fruits. The tree was full of leaves. Fig trees normally produce fruit before leaves. Since it had leaves but no fruit, Jesus cursed it, and the next day, the fig tree withered entirely. From this story in the Bible, we receive the lesson: a fruit tree must bear fruit. Fruitful trees conform to the wishes of their creator. They serve their creator. If a fruit tree does not bear fruit, it goes against the creator's will and fails to serve the creator, leading to withering. The value of low-level life lies in serving higher life forms. Microorganisms serve plants. Plants serve animals. Animals serve humans. Humans serve gods. Gods serve the greatest creator. When a species fails to serve a higher life form, it will decline. If a fig tree does not bear fruit, what purpose does it serve? If a plant does not serve animals, what purpose does it serve? If animals do not serve humans, what purpose do they serve? If humans do not serve gods, what purpose do they serve? If gods do not serve the greatest creator, what purpose do they serve? The theory of evolution is a soup theory. It's all about the struggle for existence, the survival of the fittest. This results in moral and ethical chaos of lives in the universe. It believes that humans are the lords of all creation and master over nature. As a result, humans forget their own existential value. They disregard the existence of gods and the greatest creator, unwilling to serve gods. What is the result? The result is heading towards withering and extinction because what purpose do you have? Look around your living environment: the bed, table, chair, pots and pans, clothes, shoes, house, TV, computer, phone, washing machine, etc. Were they created naturally? Weren't they all created by humans? Undoubtedly, you firmly believe all these were created by someone, and you'll notice every object, whether it's a table, shoe, computer, or phone, was created with a specific function and purpose. If shoes cannot be worn, chairs cannot be sat on, houses cannot be lived in, would you still keep them? Now look at everything in nature: the grass, flowers, trees, insects, birds, animals, the sky, clouds, mountains, rivers. Don't you think there's a creator behind them? Don't you think they were all endowed with special functions and purposes? Let's consider human beings. Each organ, like eyes, ears, nose, tongue, hands, feet, hair, internal organs, bones, and more, was endowed with unique functions and purposes. If eyes do not see, what use are they? If feet do not walk, what use are they? If ears do not hear, what use are they? Just like a mother hen, if she does not lay eggs, what use is she? Eventually, we realize any species or object must have one or more serving functions. When the serving function disappears, that species or object is destined to perish and disappear. What about humans? Is the existence of humans solely for enjoyment, without serving other life forms or having any function, purpose? The answer is, the value of human existence is to serve a higher life form, gods and the greatest creator. In what way do humans serve gods and the greatest creator? Living according to natural laws, following the way of nature is serving gods and the greatest creator. So, how do you know if you are serving gods and the greatest creator? How do you know if your service is good or not? If you can fulfill the following 8 aspects, you are serving gods and the greatest creator, providing the best service. Revere the greatest creator, life, and nature. Follow the way of the greatest creator, that is to follow the way of nature. Not possessing natural resources, letting natural resources serve all life forms. Not suppressing sexuality, allowing sexual freedom because sex is Buddha. Sex is the inherent nature of Tathagata. Belonging to nature rather than any other entity, like a nation, religion, political party, ethnicity, or individual. Believing in the greatest creator, relying on the greatest creator, praising the greatest creator, surrendering one's life to the greatest creator without fear of death, letting life be managed by the Tao, not letting greed and desire consume oneself, not complaining or holding resentment in any situation. Utilizing everything to its fullest potential, not suppressing or repressing individuality, not controlling others with your wisdom and power, not wasting any resources, sharing everything with people resonating on the same frequency. Maintaining physical, mental, and spiritual health. Maintaining a cheerful, romantic, and optimistic outlook every day. Listening to the teachings of gods, Buddhas, celestials, and saints. Maximizing one's true qualities of goodness, kindness, beauty, love, faith, and sincerity. Showcasing one's functionality comprehensively, using eyes to see, ears to listen, hands to work, and feet to walk. Integrating into nature as much as possible, acting in accordance with natural laws. This way, it's serving the higher form of life, manifesting the value of being human, aligning with the Creator's will, and will receive rewards from gods and the greatest creator. Life will ascend to higher life space. 私有制是人类文明跃升的障碍，达其乐融融. Private ownership is an obstacle to the ascension of human civilization. Reply to Qi Lu Rong Rong. Xiefeng. April 23, 2023. Translation edited by Qin Yu. 400 years ago, the great English philosopher John Locke penned the second treatise of civil government, laying the foundation for modern Western civilization. The might of present-day America is directly linked to this treatise. It can be said that without the second treatise, there wouldn't be the Western civilization of today, let alone the powerful America we see now. Every prominent figure, whether a thinker, philosopher, scientist, or politician, is bound by the constraints of their time. They cannot perceive everything or solve all problems. John Locke was great, but that does not mean all his thoughts were correct, or that his ideas were entirely correct for his time. As time progresses, ideas can become outdated. It's akin to a brilliant carriage driver in an era of automobiles. No matter how skilled they are in driving carriages, they do not fit the traffic rules and license requirements of the automobile era. John Locke said, "Private ownership is the foundation of human civilization. If your wealth is not yours, would you still strive? If your son is not yours, would you still raise him and send him to school? If your wife is public, would you still cherish her?" The concept of private ownership constitutes the basis of all human civilization, is the foundation of human morality, and also the law of nature. Mr. Chi Lu Rong Rong brought up the above view and asked me, "Guide, while this passage seems reasonable in human society, from the perspective of Life Genuine, it's evidently incorrect. To reach higher levels, we must negate this passage and transcend this viewpoint. What do you think?" Certainly, the discourse on dimensions has become prevalent. Distinct dimensions offer entirely different perspectives and cognitions. Those standing on the same dimension generally share similar stances and viewpoints. However, those at a higher dimension find the stance and viewpoints of those on a lower dimension rather laughable. While I hesitate to assert that I stand on a dimension higher than John Locke, it's evident that his viewpoint does not align with the advanced form of human civilization. The alignment of human selfishness with a higher form of civilization is questionable. Private ownership is not only the core factor generating conflicts, contradictions, turmoil, wars in human society, but also the chief culprit squandering natural resources leading to deforestation, land desertification, water and atmospheric pollution, and the ecological trend toward collapse. Without abolishing private ownership, the prospect of sustainable human development is not just a concern but a cause for despair. In the universe, there exist 20 different types of civilizations, each distinct from the others. The civilization represented by XYZ is entirely different from XYZ. Even within XYZ, the difference from XYZ is profound. I've examined several forms of cosmic civilizations, and it's safe to say that the more advanced a civilization, the further it is from human selfishness and the concept of private ownership. If we confine ourselves to human society, we can never imagine the patterns of other civilizations. In guiding human society toward a more advanced civilization, Life Genuine has undertaken experiments on Earth for the past 14 years, experimenting with a non-ownership model, which differs from both private and public ownership. This non-ownership model is a replicated form of the most human-like patterns of civilization found in the universe. Through the experiments conducted over the past 14 years, we have learned that people can attain complete selflessness. The more selfless a person is, the more they can enjoy the pleasures of life and the wonders of life. Conversely, those entrenched in selfishness tend to encounter a life filled with hardships, pain, and anxiety. Private ownership serves as a breeding ground for human selfishness. John Locke's analysis and judgment were rooted in the assumption of inherent human selfishness. However, he overlooked the notion that human nature conforms to the cosmic holographic theory. Humans exhibit both selfish and selfless tendencies, akin to possessing humane, animalistic, and divine traits. The diverse soil, environment, and circumstances in which humans live lead to the manifestation of various aspects of human nature. Much like how the south and north regions of the Huai River yield oranges and trifoliate oranges respectively based on environmental differences. If wealth is not yours, wouldn't you make an effort? If a child is not yours, wouldn't you raise and educate them? If a wife is considered a shared entity, wouldn't you cherish her? These three questions stem from a primitive, animalistic mindset. Without delving into theoretical analysis, observing two instances, the Life Genuine second home model and the thousand-year world model, which is closest to human society, where private ownership of wealth does not exist. However, in these places, everyone works diligently. Although children are not biologically related, everyone willingly raises and educates them. Similarly, there's no concept of individual wives, yet everyone respects women and values relationships between men and women. Genuine individuality arises from selflessness, and self-discovery unfolds through self-abandonment. To have everything, one must possess nothing. John Locke's understanding fails to grasp this concept. Therefore, the conclusion is that private ownership is not the foundation of human civilization, but rather an obstacle to its advancement. 禅院歌，神奇的第二家园. The Magical Second Home, Now New Oasis for Life. Composed by Xiefeng. Translated by Treasure and edited by Care. A beautiful homeland. In a picturesque place. The magical second home spreads its fragrance of love. Morning glories cover hills. Violets release their fragrance. Birds singing with sweet flowers. Every season seems like spring. Joyous people sing loud praises. Oh, magical second home. Paradise on the earth. A land from the fairy tales. Seen in the distance like precious stones. My emotions bloom when I am here. My love ripples clear as blue water. Free from care within my mind. Day and night are blissful dreams. Oh, magical second home. You are paradise on earth. Bathed in the light of his glow. We sing heartily and roam free. The Song of Life at Chanyuan College. Xiefeng. Translated by Treasure and edited by Care. Bathed in the light of the greatest creator. Traveling along the great way of life. Spreading our sunshine of love. Lighting hope for the best life. Christ Jesus' love in our hearts. Buddha's goodness warms our souls. Decorating our garden on earth. We sing and dance in eternal spring. Entering into this palace to grow. Stepping into the home of our soul. Knowledge is our base of wisdom. Spiritual wisdom like wings that we spread. Passing through the remote time-space tunnel. Seeing our very beautiful futures. Dedicating our talents and wisdom with love. We build our beautiful and sustainable earth. Playing the symphony of wonderful time. Praising the new era of life at Chanyuan. We burst with pride and passion. We bearing valiance and heroism. Embodying the value of our present life. Embodying the meaning of eternal life. Longing to go to our homeland in heaven. The universe resounds with the melody of youth. 普世价值观. Universal Values 1-20 Life at Chanyuan. The values that accord with the principles of nature, human nature, and long-term well-being and stability of human society are universal values. Point 1. Revere the greatest creator, revere life, revere nature, and follow nature's path. Point 2. Only a global government can bring peace and happiness to all people. 3. The disappearance of countries and their boundaries is the fundamental guarantee for humanity's sustainable development. 4. Only the dissolution of marriage and traditional families will finally bring the highest level of civilization to mankind. 5. Xiefeng-style communal way of life and its production mode match those in heaven. 6. One's private space is sacred and cannot be violated. 7. One's private properties earned by their service and creation cannot be expropriated. 8. The elderly who are not able to work should be supported by all of society. 9. Children should be raised and educated by all of society. 10. Medical care for all Earth citizens must be free and not commercialized. 11. Regional conflicts and riots are public nuisances to all mankind. 12. All affairs are global affairs. There are no such things as internal affairs. 13. The disappearance of global armies and the destruction of weapons are the best guarantees for the safety of all Earth citizens. 14. The government's function is to serve, not to make decisions, while a group of sages who do not participate in the administrative management should be decision makers. 15. A variety of non-government groups and organizations are the key players contributing to the vitality of human life. 16. There is nothing good about mysterious and spooky things. Anything that is furtive and sneaky is bad. 17. Entrepreneurs are the main drivers of material wealth creation. 18. Egalitarianism is a pernicious ideology that exploits the industrious and intelligent. 19. Capitalism will lead to mankind's eventual destruction. 20. Allowing people to move freely around the world advances ethnic and cultural integration. To be continued. 请了解生命禅院第二家言. Please understand the second home of Life Genuine. Ishian. What is the second home? The second home is a brand new paradise-like production and living model created by Life Genuine, which has never appeared on Earth before. It is the model of the thousand-year world of heaven copied by the founder and guide of Life Genuine, Xiefeng. It is a living model that best fits the ideals of ancient and modern sages and philosophers worldwide and common people. If all humanity lives in this way, humanity can enter an era of worthy people will fully utilize their talents. The whole world will be as one family. No one will keep lost articles found on the roadside and doors will not need to be locked at night. Everything will be in complete harmony. The weather will be good for harvesting and everyone will be happy, joyous, free, and blessed. The most significant feature of the second home is no countries, no religions, no political parties, no marriage and families, no husband-wife relationships. Each branch is a small family, and every family may have members from different countries and ethnicities who live together. In the headquarters of Life Genuine, along with 256 global branches, members can flow freely among them. Hence, the second home is also called the Life Genuine International Family. In the second home, all members within this big family are brothers, sisters, relatives, and lovers. Everyone loves and serves each other. The reason why everyone can live in harmony together is that everyone adheres to the 800 values for new era human being and the life procedures of the home. The purification of the mind through these values is crucial. Only a perfect mind can ensure the normal operation of the home's procedures, allowing every member to live a happy, joyful, free, and blessed life. What kind of life is the second home? The second home is a collective life where everyone works cooperatively, serving each other. It ensures that the young are well nurtured and the elderly are properly taken care of. Everyone's talents are fully utilized and resources are efficiently managed. All affairs and household chores become types of work. Each member selects a job based on their talents and interests. They dedicate at least 6 hours a day to work efficiently and strive to excel in their chosen jobs. This allows each member ample time for leisure activities, learning, and self-improvement. The second home follows the natural way, practicing holographic management, where service replaces traditional management. It's a space where 8 immortals cross the sea, each revealing their own expertise, and where those who propose take charge. Within this setting, everyone owns nothing yet has everything, and each contributes as they can, receiving according to their needs. Everyone functions as both a master and a servant. Building on the shared values of the home, every individual's personality, preferences, and strengths are fully respected, allowing everyone to express themselves, showcase their talents, and experience the joys of life, living happily, joyfully, freely, and contentedly within the home. The second home advocates freedom in romantic love and sexual relations. Romantic love is a precious gift bestowed upon humanity by the greatest creator, and sexual relations are the most elevated form of play among all recreational activities. They also serve as an effective means to perceive the nature of the mind and reach the wondrous state of extreme bliss. Therefore, fully enjoying romantic love and sexual life is the will of the greatest creator and an indispensable, inalienable part of a fulfilling life. Ensuring that everyone fully enjoys romantic love and sexual life, safeguarding their freedom to experience these relations to the fullest, stands as a significant cultural characteristic of the second home. The second home is also a place for life's elevation to heaven. Only by being baptized by the values of Life Genuine, perfecting the soul garden, can one live happily, joyfully, freely, and blessedly in the home. Only in this way can the quality of your life meet the standards of heaven, because the home is a replica of the living model of the thousand-year world of heaven. If you can live happily, joyfully, freely, and blessedly in it, it proves that your life quality meets the standards of heaven. The foundation of the second home. The second home can ensure everyone's happiness, joy, freedom, and blessedness and lead humanity into the Life Genuine era. There are three cornerstones. The first is the guidance of Xiefeng, the messenger of the greatest creator, the incarnation of God, Buddha, celestial, saint, and the founder of Life Genuine. The scene of heaven is in his mind. As long as the conditions are met, a heaven can be replicated anytime and anywhere. The second is a complete theoretical system, which is the Chanyuan corpus, Xiefeng corpus, in their essence, the 800 values for new era human being. These values ensure the home's development direction and the perfection of its operating procedures. The third is a group of Chanyuan celestials who have been nurtured by the values for more than 10 years and have participated in the construction of the second home. With their presence, the second home can be built quickly and enter a healthy operational track. The history and current situation facing the second home. The second home was born on April 18, 2009, and 12 homes were established in provinces such as Yunnan, Xinjiang, and Guizhou in China. Due to the overly advanced theories such as the absence of marriage and family and the freedom of romantic love and sex, the government did not understand or support us. Finally, the homes were disbanded on the grounds of an illegal organization, and Xiefeng had to leave China for Canada. However, Xiefeng is determined to create heaven on earth, so we purchased land in Canada to establish the headquarters of Life Genuine, a miniature heaven. Most Life Genuine members were forced to stay in China due to passport and visa issues, unable to participate in the construction in Canada. The entire creation process was intricate and complex. We have documented many articles and pictures, including scenes of labor, game visuals, life content, the status of Chanyuan celestials, and several experiences of being disbanded. Interested individuals can find more details on the Life Genuine International Family, Life Genuine, and Life Genuine New Oasis for Life websites. We also have channels and pages on YouTube and Facebook, frequently updating the latest developments at Life Genuine. Here are the links. Life Genuine International Family, English http://www.smcyinternationalfamily.org. New Oasis for Life, English http://newoasis4life.org/news/portal.php. Second home section of Life Genuine website, Chinese http://leafgozmos.org/bbs/forum.php ?gid =369. Second home channel on YouTube, Chinese https://www.youtube.com/@lifechanyuan98. YouTube Life Genuine International Family Channel, English https://www.youtube.com/playlist list =PLZ7_fuck PCJ CURUNZE7F1SVQCR WJS Facebook Life Genuine International Family Group or page, https://www.facebook.com/groups/3489835030899327. Since the founding of Life Genuine in 2001, Xiefeng pointed out that the core crisis humanity faces is the crisis of the mind. He foresaw the living conditions of humanity in the future under the management of biorobots, issued numerous warnings, and proposed corresponding solutions. Simultaneously refining the theory and practicing the lifestyle of the second home, over a decade of practice has proven the accuracy of the theory and the feasibility of the second home. Xiefeng aims to build heaven on earth, to replicate the scenes of paradise into the human realm. This is his mission. Chanyuan celestials aspire to build homes, to set an example for a new life for humanity. This is our wish. The aim of Life Genuine is to harvest ripe crops and usher humanity into a new era of universal happiness, joy, freedom, and blessedness. No matter the difficulties encountered, its unwavering determination and steadfast pace cannot be hindered. Now, for those who are spiritually awakened, for those seeking to explore a better way of life, for those dedicated to the sustainable development of humanity, for those seeking to rescue humanity from crises, and for those aspiring to elevate the quality of life toward heaven, there is a rare opportunity. Xiefeng aims to create a terrestrial paradise in Canada for 300 people and establish 256 branches worldwide. each with 30 to 300 individuals. This requires people of vision and wisdom to participate. Those with resources, land, strength, contributing to one of the greatest endeavors of humanity in this era, leading humanity into a breathtakingly beautiful new era. If you're interested, please contact us. Here is our contact information. Email: info@lifeofchanyuan.org. The Spirit of Chanyuan Celestials. Dayform Buddha, Xiefeng. January 6, 2007. Translated by Tong Xin and edited by Care. We are the grass of the earth, and our roots grow deep into the fertile soil. The sun shines to us, the rain and dew moisten us, and the greatest Creator blesses us continuously. Therefore, we have endless power. We are not lonely anymore because we have found the homeland for our spirits and souls. We have many bosom friends in our home, and whenever we encounter hard or challenging conditions, only we can break down the barriers and win rich and colorful lives. We can create and build oases in the desert and shining lighthouses in the darkness. No matter how heavy the wind and sandstorms blow, nor how strong the burning heat and frigid cold might hit us, we remain upright and indomitable, and we stand confidently and proudly between heaven and earth with smiles on our faces. What we do today is all the arrangement of the greatest Creator. It is the mission bestowed upon us by the greatest Creator. We are the greatest Creator's favored citizens. It is our glory to serve the greatest Creator, and nothing can block us from continuing to strive toward and move forward with full speed and courage. Today, the heavy burden of creating a new life mode for the new era is undertaken by us. We are the hope of human beings, and it is mainly we who are the guarantors for leading human beings into this healthy, rich, free, and blessed era. It does not matter which country, nationality, political party, or which religion, organization, and belief system people come from. People must adjust their values on the world, life, and value according to Life of Chanyuan values. This is the requirement of the age and the wishes of all kind, diligent, honest, and trustworthy people. It is also the ideal pursued by all sages and saints for generations, and the objective law which cannot be changed by any individual's will. Our lives are the greatest lives because they have abandoned vulgar interests. In our hearts, we have shining lights and a big love. Such lights and love can resolve all contradictions and unhappiness in the human world and lead us all into a lovely, beautiful spring garden. We are ready to fight at any time. Our weapons are not swords, guns, or missiles, but a big love for nature, people, life, and life. Love is the weapon in our fight. We will smash any shackles and chains with the power of love, and we will break through the darkness that has existed for thousands of years with the light of love and knock down all firm, old castles with the power of love. When we are faced with extremely harsh conditions, that lone figure fighting on could only be a Chanyuan celestial of Life of Chanyuan. When wind and sandstorms blow fiercely, evil raises its head, and people are scared and trembling in the dark. That one person walking bravely and firmly with strength and courage could only be a Chanyuan celestial of Life of Chanyuan. When danger and death come, and people are pessimistic, desperate, and have lost their way, if one person is calm and peaceful without changing his face, still singing and dancing happily, then he could only be a Chanyuan celestial of Life of Chanyuan. No false or evil power can beat us, and no fear of danger can frighten us because we are no longer bodies, but spirits, expansive spirits that go beyond time and space, invincible spirits that can be neither beaten nor smashed. We have boundless and inexhaustible soul power because we are with the greatest Creator. We are with the earth. We are with sincerity, kindness, beauty, love, faith, honesty, and diligence. We are with light, and we are with all people who love peace and justice in the world. Our souls are as strong as rocks, and we are angels of the new era. Of this, we are very confident. It is a confidence coming neither from ignorance and blind arrogance, nor from unrealistic illusions, nor even from naive fairy tales and fables. Our confidence comes from the source energy of the universe, the rich life experience, our full awareness of Tao, and the realistic valuable judgment to life and life. Moreover, it is coming from the passionate hope for life and our big and deep love of life. We will no longer fight for personal gains, nor for the benefits of families, groups, or nations. We will not fight for political parties or religious organizations ever again because such fights would be too tiny, narrow, craven, and short-sighted. We will fight for the blessings of all human beings and strive for turning the earth into a fairyland for all life beings. We are overwhelmed with good psychological qualities, and we have endless power in our hearts because we are one with degree nature, love, and Tao, plus or minus. We are kind, as flexible and ever-changing as water yet as firm as steel. We degree have no shadows when hiding, plus or minus, and are degree like young dragons when emerging, plus or minus, as ordinary as the grasses growing along the road yet as extraordinary as mountains standing tall and upright into the sky. If heaven did not send forth Jesus and Buddha, then all the times of the human world would remain clouded in darkness, and if mankind did not have Chanyuan celestials, then wonderful lives would remain impossible to find even after searching for thousands of years. We will awaken all sleeping souls and let them enjoy bright and splendid futures, break the unbroken darkness with our wisdom, and use our talents to pave a rainbow that all might have access to a happy land. We will warm every frozen soul with our love, expand the lands of oases with the enormous power of our spirit and soul, and we will create a fragrant, joyful, and happy fairyland with songs, flowers, smiles, and warm affections in this human world. 8 Footstones for a Successful Life. Shuifeng, August 22, 2005. Translated by Tong Xin and edited by Care. Believe in the greatest creator firmly. The greatest creator is the source of life and wisdom, and this fundamental guarantee leads to higher life spaces. Life that departs from the greatest creator is devilish life and is destined to be ruined. Follow the way of Tao. Tao is truth, the source of spirit and soul, and the bridge or channel of attaining eternal life. It is also a sufficient and necessary condition for sublimating life quality. A life without following Tao is an illusion, as transitory as a night-blooming flower. Respect your national leaders. The president, king, or chairman of a country is the leader of a societal group, and a society without a leader is a disordered society which will surely be unstable. Respect for the president or king is a necessary quality of every citizen. Desecration of or resistance to the president or king often results in a loss of the basic quality of being a citizen. Such people will surely lead stormy and turbulent lives. Be filial and respect your parents. Heaven has the Tao of heaven, hell has the Tao of hell, and the same holds true for people. Being filial and respectful to one's parents is one of the main principles we should follow as human beings. Our parents are the roots of life's bodies on earth, and if we are not filial and do not respect our parents, then we will be destroying the roots of our lives, and such lives without roots will lead people to become lost and lonely souls. Be trustworthy and have integrity. We cannot be trusted without integrity, and once we lose our integrity, we will slip downward into the lower life spaces of demons, devils, ghosts, and monsters, and join the camp of devils. Although wearing the degree skin, plus or minus of a person, such a life does not belong to a human being anymore. Be diligent and motivated. Laziness leads to ignorance and poverty. Being gluttonous, lazy, and wandering around all day without purpose, and these are the wastrel's lifestyle. Degree an inch of time is an inch of gold, but even an inch of gold cannot buy back an inch of time. Plus or minus, life should not be wasted at any moment, but should cherish time and seek happiness in struggles. Those who are studious and motivated have bright, splendid futures, but those who are shiftless, negative, and pessimistic can only have tragic lives. Be courageous. Do not make trouble, but do not fear trouble either. Dare to face reality and let yourself go. Be good at winning, but dare to be defeated. Be able to come back after being destroyed utterly. Be able to hold the sword. Fight on a running horse and rush toward difficulties. Always remain calm before danger, and be fearless and dauntless in the face of death. Love collective life. In nature, there are unexpected storms, and in life, unpredictable vicissitudes. How much energy can single individuals have? Can they face heavy crises and changeable situations alone? Even if they achieve great success by themselves and own enormous amounts of wealth, If they have no trustable friends and close partners with whom to share their happiness and pains, what is the value of it? Everyone shows their own magical powers and crosses the seas together, like the 8 immortals flying across the sea from a famous Chinese fairy tale. Everyone appreciates and takes care of each other, like a transformer can not only fight well separately but also cooperate well with other partners, and becomes an invincible fighter when combined into one. Life without love for collective life is a sad life and suffers much loneliness. Above are the 8 footstones of a successful life, and none of them can be excluded. Persistent motivation comes from the longing and pursuit of a wonderful life. Shuefeng, November 28, 2012. Translated by Tong Xin and edited by Care. What promotes everyone to live day by day? It is the Tathaga, nature, which has been the design program ever since life was originally created during the beginning of creation. For each life, whether they like it or not, must run around in circles to survive for several decades after being born, and this is not controllable by anyone. As people, we must run around solving the problems of eating, clothing, shelter, transportation, birth, aging, sickness, and death, although these are reluctant choices which lead to tragic lives. These are reluctant and tragic lives within the realms of necessity. If people cannot escape from the bondages of the realms of necessity, then no matter how they may live, trouble, pain, worry, anxiety, and fear will follow them forever. Life will rise and fall, set in sorrow and joy, and bloom and fade like flowers, until one reincarnation of life is finished and a new one begins anew. Coming back to the original point, after several years, many decades, or even centuries, these are the reincarnations of the realm of necessity. If we do not escape from the bondage of the realm of necessity and enter into the realm of freedom, then whatever we do and however glorious a state we can reach, everything is as futile and transitory as passing clouds. Nothing is worthy of being pursued or owned. Although the road leading forward is tortuous, it is only by targeting an eternal direction and goal and by walking firmly towards it that we can ever hope to walk out of the realm of necessity, out of the rises and falls, and out of the reincarnations of life, that we might taste and enjoy the scenery and joys along the road. Everything we pursue and own in the human world will eventually melt into emptiness or burst like bubbles. They are absolutely illusions and dreams. If everything in the human world eventually disappears, then what is worthy of being pursued? What is worthy of being owned? What is worthy of being strived for by consuming the energy of life? Others swim with the tide and do not care about truth or falsehood, sincerity or deception, beauty or ugliness, kindness or cruelty, good or evil, or what is yours or mine, because everything will disappear into silence when one eventually disappears from the world. Or move forward, firmly toward the realm of freedom which exceeds this human world and exceeds space and time. Where is the realm of freedom? Where is the way leading to the realm of freedom? The human world is not the realm of freedom because our bodies push us to run for survival. The realm of freedom is heaven, and the ultimate realm of freedom is the celestial islands continent of the Elysium world. The road leading to the realm of freedom is the longing and pursuit of a wonderful life, and this is the source of persistent motivation. What are wonderful lives? They are states of no death, no pain and sorrow, no worry and fear, no trouble and misfortune, and no fighting and deprivation, but there is always joy, happiness, sunny life like beautiful springs, eternally green mountains and clear rivers, and one has the freedom to do whatever they want to do forever. What is fortunate is that we have found the way that directs us forward to the realm of freedom in which a broad, beautiful world is already waiting for us. The question is, how can we reach it? Can we keep going? Did we delay too much on the road, feel powerless like sighing before the sea, and get pulled back into the realm of necessity because of sluggishness? So many people have fallen down because they lost. Do you still have the motivation to move ahead? As long as you strive for and pursue the good life continuously, you will have persistent motivation and can overcome all difficulties and finally reach the destination. But if your pursuit and longing are reduced or stopped, then you will stay in the same place and miss your opportunity to enjoy a truly beautiful life. Life should be spent like this. Shuefeng, January 5, 2007. Translated by Tsong Long. Life is a short journey of life, a process of life, not the ultimate goal. No matter our life is difficult or easy, life itself is beautiful, and the time of short decades can be purchased at any price. When it is lost, we can never get it back. We must pursue a rich and colorful life, and be brave enough to experience different situations. Don't be afraid of setbacks, failures, risks, and adversities. Don't be afraid of losing something. We had nothing when we came to the earth, and cannot take even a piece of leaf when we leave. Everything of life is just an experience. It doesn't matter if we are winning or failing. I want to say again here, life is like a dream. All space directions are void. We should have full experiences and live our life to the most so that we won't have regrets when we leave the earth. We must be rebellious, otherwise, we are not able to get out of the bondage of other people's thinking power. We must have courage to walk the way nobody has walked before. Breaking new paths in jungles or wildness may make us black and blue, and we may wander at times. However, only by living this way, our life is the most valuable. We must be positive and optimistic. As long as we are still alive and haven't left the world, we cannot be depressed and give up our hopes, even in the last minute. We should still climb towards the highest peak of life and life. We should despise the behavior which is coward, lazy, and pessimistic, and despise the negative lifestyle that nothing is accomplished. We must go towards the brightness and shouldn't be compromised to the darkness. We must bring our wisdom and talents into full play and leave no regrets. The greatest life is the life that serves the whole humanity, the life that brings people brightness, hope, and happiness. Only by holding this value and attitude, we can be inspired to have great wisdom and have endless energy and great abilities. We are then able to distinguish between the right and wrong and have a clear mind. We are able to go forward without the fear of any hardship or difficulties. We must find the like-minded and people who have the same vibration frequencies. We must avoid loneliness. A journey having companies is much better than traveling alone. Happiness of oneself is not real happiness. Group happiness is real happiness. We must have good teachers and friends. The more beautiful our soul, more good teachers and friends we will have. If we are lonely without the company of good people, our life is definitely miserable, boring, and dull, and it will become a lament. We must be as pure as jade. We must be innocent, open, and above board. When we hate someone, we make it open. When we love someone, we express it clearly. We walk our talk and show the same inside and outside. We never go in for intrigues and conspiracy, never be furtive. We must be honest to ourselves and others, and are not afraid of ghosts knock the door at midnight, plus or minus. We never do anything furtively. All dirty things are leading us to the hell. They sell our lives to the monster, and we will not be able to clear it in our lifetime. Therefore, it will be difficult for our lives to be saved, and we are not able to stand straight and have a clear mind, and we will end up achieving nothing. We know that the universe is made of three elements: degree consciousness, structure, and energy, plus or minus, which has offered us limitless future. Our life is limit, but our life is unlimited. As long as we have perfect consciousness, we will have perfect life structure. As long as we have perfect life structure, we will attract the corresponding energy. That way, we will be able to extend our life to the unlimited time and space. We also know that the key points of cultivation are degree nature, love, and Tao, plus or minus. Degree nature, plus or minus. When we follow our nature of origin, we are Buddha. Degree love, plus or minus. When we love others same as we love ourselves, we are God. Degree Tao, plus or minus. When we walk following Tao, we are celestial. Mysteries are endless. Our future is so promising. Life is so beautiful. As long as we are still alive, we have hope. As long as we work hard, we have brilliant future. As long as we give up our own interest. As long as we look forward and don't lose direction when we face gain and loss, we are able to experience the most wonderful feeling, and we are able to stride across rivers, climb over mountains to reach the ideal shore. Creating life a genuine era for humanity is our highest ideal. To extend our life from the earth to degree 1,000-year world, plus or minus, degree 10,000-year world, plus or minus, and degree Elysium world, Plus or minus is our unremitting pursuit. This is the most important thing of our life. Whatever consciousness we have corresponding life existence style and space. This is a truth with no doubt. All people who have spiritual sense, let us be shown under the light of degree revere the greatest creator, revere nature and revere life. Walk on the way of the greatest creator, plus or minus, devote our limited lifetime to unlimited creation. Let us raise awareness, shift thinking, perfect consciousness, and perfect life structure to create a brand new life and enjoy the endless happiness of life and life. Overcome all worldly thoughts and enter sainthood. Degree foster righteousness by learning from nature. Plus or minus, degree emulate the sages and saints in human history. Plus or minus, our beautiful ideal will definitely be realized. Let us plan our life with a span of 100,000 years. When we look back, we will say, degree my life has no regrets at all, plus or minus. Approach to the best. Shuifeng. Translated by Treasure and edited by Care. Stay in the company of the righteous, and you shall become righteous. But keep in the company of wolves, and you will learn to howl. Hang out in an orchid, and yours will be the aroma of flowers. But stay in a store of abalone, and you will exude a putrid odor. With saints, you will get a clear and bright mind. But with thieves, you will become one. It is hard to avoid getting your shoes wet when you walk along a riverbank, and it is easy to get stabbed when you wander through thorn bushes. Consume flower nectar and distribute delicate fragrances, but dine on onions and garlic, and you will stink. Therefore, approach excellence, and you will approach perfection for a while, but be with degradation, and you will degrade. Neighbors need to be chosen when you move, and friends should be selected from society. On the mountain, you will learn the twitter of birds, and from bodies of water, you will understand the freely swimming fish. Pray to the Buddha, and you will gain the Buddha's nature. Pursue the celestial being, and your dream may be realized. Enjoy delight with an optimist or suffer pain with a pessimist. Associate with composers, and you will understand melody, or be with poets, and learn to chant. The bel esprits often reside on green mountains with sparkling water, while rogues live on barren hills with muddy sludge. Minds remain clear and at peace with the words of saints and sages, but become unsettled and uneasy with a gangster's words. To enjoy a grander sight by climbing to a greater height. To reach the fairyland by approaching the best. You have to be cautious in the mortal world, because even slight laziness may lead you to fall. Objects must remain segregated, or the bad ones will mix together with the good ones. Of restaurants with the same type of food, and within the same price range, always choose the one with more customers. Associate with people who are successful, optimistic, open-minded, and of good character. Drink with soul mates but chant with close friends, and do business with knowledgeable specialists but make love with an amorous lover. Life will have no regrets if you always choose wisely. The greatest creator is always the best. Therefore, approach the greatest creator to the end of life. The crisis of being eliminated lurks in passivity. Shuifeng. August 15, 2011. Translated by Treasure and edited by Care. Passivity means dullness, loneliness, and depression, and it manifests itself as a lack of vitality of life. Only initiative can expand the one's life into full bloom and play fully to the most incisive. Passivity is not responsible for life. It is the repression of life. It is only with initiative that the brilliance and wonder of the boundless world can be appreciated in life, and life can be fully vigorous. With such a short lifetime, the brilliance of youth flees within the blink of an eye. The precious time is gone as a torrent in a river. If the elegance of life cannot be revealed in a timely way, then as times passes and situations change, only pity will remain like dust and ashes deposited in the riverbed of life, and all the regrets will devolve into poisonous weeds and thorns growing in the garden of one's soul. Passivity is dark, initiative is bright. Passive lives can only be accompanied with negativity and pessimism, while initiating lives will associate with positivity and optimism. Passive lives are at the mercy of fate and cannot escape samsara in the endless suffering, while initiating lives can turn hostility into friendship and overcome all difficulties on the road that advances to the optimal prospects and to finally ride on the fate of the trajectory to reach the realm of freedom. Money in the bank ends up being devalued. One's wisdom and talent that cannot be played on time will ultimately meet their fate of having no value. Fresh flowers bloom for brief moments. Fruit trees bear fruit which eventually spoil. Insects have very little time to breed and calve, and hens need to lay their eggs exactly when they are ready, or they all risk being eliminated. A nation should actively introduce and promote its cultural characteristics to all of mankind. If they stay in a corner, remain conservative, and preserve their outworn systems, they will inevitably perish. A talented person should hunt actively for, or create good opportunities in which to give full play to their talents in due time. Until that time has changed and situations have shifted, the opportunity to show their intelligence and wisdom might be lost forever. As vegetation in nature does not sprout in spring, they will have less chance to stretch their green leaves, bloom, and fructify. Be active. Make your own wishes and ideals known by as many people as possible. Degree the mind of a real gentleman is as clear as the blue sky, as bright as the shining sun which shall be known to others, plus or minus. Create opportunities to give full play to your talents, to make your presence bring maximum benefits to mankind, and to benefit society and nature. Even when falling in love with someone, you must confess to your beloved one actively and never wait passively, because waiting will destroy the best opportunities and leave only eternal regret. It does not matter whether flowers grow in the moor or on the cliffs, and regardless of whether they grow in the imperial garden or in the thorn grass, they will duly bloom their beauty. We should be like flowers regardless of where we are. At home, with friends, while working, in a dance hall, or on a journey, we should actively show our qualities of sincerity, kindness, virtue, love, faith, and honesty, and fully play as incisively as we can. Never wait for tomorrow, just bloom in the present. Say what needs to be said, and do what needs to be done now. Without blooming today, today will be wasted. Every day will be wasted. All of life will be wasted. Tomorrow's rising sun is not yesterday's setting sun, and tomorrow's self is not yesterday's self. Fulfill yourself every day. Fulfill your whole life, and advance every step with brilliance and splendor. Then, you will shine along the 10,000-mile road. Everything created by the greatest creator has its own value and function, and everything will prolong life and please the greatest creator only by revealing its full value and function. A fruit tree that fails to produce fruit will be chopped down, and a hen that lays no eggs will be killed to be eaten. People exist with value and meaning, and it is only by fully revealing this value and meaning of their existence that they can be useful individuals and have the opportunity to ascend. If one has neither value nor function, then they must be banished down to the dump of life, see hell. Chronically passive individuals have no chance to ascend up to heaven, and those who always hesitate, wait in depression like incombustible wood waiting to decay. The crisis of being eliminated lurks in passivity. Pessimism and despair belong to the passive. Optimism and hope belong to the active. Regardless of what situation you face, even in your times of greatest trouble, you still need to have initiative, for it is only in this way that you will have any hope to conquer your difficulties, overcome all resistance, and create an absolutely new world with dense willows and bright flowers. By a river, Confucius once said, "Degree the passage of time is like the flow of water, plus or minus. Degree 1,000 sails pass by the shipwreck and 10,000 saplings thrive beyond the withered tree. Plus or minus be active to make yourself a member of the 1,000 sails or the 10,000 saplings. Taking the way with golden times along, let your life be full of vigor and of energy, and full of the symphony of life and its gorgeous colors till you reach the highest realm of life, see the celestial islands continent of the Elysium." Brothers and sisters, I feel very happy to be with you. Shuifeng, April 18, 2014. Some brothers and sisters have asked me, Degree Guide, you have given up your favorable living conditions overseas, and you gave up the upscale villa and 3 beautiful poetic Xanadus in Yunnan. Now you are in the Gobi, a place where it rarely rains, and you live in such a simple and crude house. You drink the highly alkalinic and bitter, carcinogenic water. There are no toilets or bathrooms here. You live in such a sandy and dusty environment. Do you not ever regret doing this? Plus or minus? My answer is, my brothers and sisters, I feel very happy to be with you. My heart is always full of joy. I have never felt so rich. The greatest creator never leaves me, and Buddha, gods, celestials, and saints accompany me all the time. The greatest creator has bestowed upon me a group of brothers and sisters who are diligent, kind, simple, sincere, and trustworthy. Living with you, I feel very happy and blessed. Joy, happiness, freedom, and blessings have not left me. Life is a journey of life on earth. Since it is a journey, whether the sceneries are good or bad, they are all sceneries. Rich life or poor life, they are both lives. Whether you gain or lose, at the end of the day, everything is empty. Degree life is like a dream. Everything disappears in the end. Experience fully and have no regrets in this life, plus or minus. With the opportunity of experiencing such a simple life, it enriches my mind. Experiencing the bitterness of human beings and life, I have no regrets at all. In fact, what I have seen are all beautiful sceneries, and I am surrounded by beauty. I see the endless, bright, and splendid future. The sum of positive and negative energy in the universe is zero, and what one gets and gives are always equal. If I keep giving, but take and enjoy little, this would be the best arrangement for me from Tao because all my degree treasures, plus or minus, are now saved in heaven. I will surely have very big blessings in the future, and my future life will be very bright and wonderful. The same logic applies to my brothers and sisters who follow me too, and they will also have wonderful blessings and a brilliant life future. Joy comes from being with my brothers and sisters. Happiness comes from creation. Blessings come from selfless dedication. Freedom comes from continuously climbing to the highest realms of life and life. I have done all these and I have owned everything. So what degree regrets, plus or minus, would I have? Actually, I am the one who gets the most. When more than 10 brothers or sisters live together in a room, they allowed me to live in a double room. Although it has a bunk bed and the space is small, it is still better than our brothers and sisters' bedrooms. Look, our 5 branch directors. Foyi still lives in a van. Shinggong shares his room with other brothers. Bien lives in a small room with a bunk bed. Xintao and Hengda also share rooms with other brothers and sisters. These directors are doing the most heavy, dirty, and dangerous work every day. Please look at how Indy and Shensi Celestial, who are over 80 years old, and Jinsi and Schwanda, who are over 70, work every day and never complain. Our middle-aged and young brothers and sisters also work happily and wholeheartedly every day, and nobody complains or expresses regrets. On the contrary, no matter whether in yesterday's Xanadu or today, Gobi, as long as we live together, we can lead happy and harmonious lives together. There is always endless laughing and happiness. Who are such a group of people? Are they not a group of celestials? In the past 4 years, without any support or help from external manpower, we Chanyuan Celestials have accomplished brilliant achievements and a splendid culture. Those with great foresight can see this, and people living in the future will benefit from it. Although many people cannot understand us at the moment, and many people still laugh, scold, attack, and persecute us, our past and presents will finally be recorded in the history of human beings, civilization. Those who persecute us will suffer the curse, and their behaviors will be recorded on the shame pole of human history. Thank you, my dear brothers and sisters. You bring me joy and happiness. I would like to continue making such efforts and to continue going forward with you until we arrive on the celestial island continent. We are clean, pure, civilized, and open. Let us bathe under the spiritual light of the greatest creator and continue to climb up the highest realm as always. Let us create a splendid future again. First some, then several, next dozens, and finally hundreds of Xanadus where people, society, and nature can coexist happily and harmoniously. Make a premium quality life. Day for Buddha. December 10th, 2006. Translated by Tong Xin and edited by Kair. The products made in factories are classified into different ratings. There are premium quality products, inferior quality products, defective products, and waste products. Due to varying technologies and varying levels of professional dedication of different workers, different quality levels of products are produced from the same mold, in the same field and with the same seeds, because the operator's levels of experience and diligence are different. The quantity of their crops will also be very different. Everyone shares inborn natures of God, Buddha, and celestial beings, and the natures of matter, animals, and humanity. Due to the differences of time, family environment, education, self-motivation, and other variables, some people will eventually achieve glorious premium quality lives, while others are forced to endure inferior quality lives or even lives filled with suffering. Although human history has existed for thousands of years, nobody has ever given clear guidance to people on how to make a premium quality life, so I will venture to share my opinion on this topic. A premium quality life has the characteristics of these following 8 qualities. They must create something for society and let many people benefit from it. What they attain must be far less than what they contribute. They never hurt anyone, but if they do cause unintentional pain or suffering, they must compensate their victims fairly. They bring joy and hope to many people. There is only love, but no hatred in their hearts. They are diligent, simple, kind, honest, and trustworthy, and they must dare to take responsibility for their actions. They revere the greatest creator, revere life and nature, and they are cultivated and civilized. They love many people and are loved by them in return. They are kind, understanding, full of vitality, and they are positive and optimistic. As long as one can reach the above 8 standards, they will lead a premium quality life. I can assure you that most people want to achieve the standards of premium quality lives, but how can they achieve it? Jade cannot become beautiful art without skillful carving, gems cannot become shining ornaments without processing, and one cannot be a premium quality person without cultivation. No matter how good-looking the mold is, if the materials are not processed correctly, they cannot become useful products. I propose the following 8 ways which should be enough to help guide you toward achieving a premium quality life. Choose the people you befriend and the groups with whom you associate cautiously. Degree: he who stays near cinnabar gets red. He who stays near ink gets stained black, plus or minus. Be with those who are cultivated, positive, and optimistic. Avoid associating with those who are negative and pessimistic and who complain and disrespect others. Be grateful at all times on everything and in all places. As long as you have the ability to help people, do not haggle over every ounce, but rather contribute your talents and wisdom unconditionally. Be a lifelong diligent worker, attain fruits through your own labor and creation. Do not be greedy, and do not cling to anything that does not rightfully belong to you. When dealing with benefits, whether it is between brothers and sisters, friends and relatives, neighbors and acquaintances, or co-workers and associates, you should lag behind and award the most benefits to others. Never put chains on the people you love. On the contrary, allow them the widest berth and the most freedom. Help others to achieve success. Never be jealous or become barriers to them. Have more than 8 bosom friends who treat each other with sincerity. Revere the greatest creator. Revere life. Revere nature, and walk on the way of the greatest creator. Life is a kaleidoscope. The kinds of flowers that will blossom depend on its physical structure, and the kind of life that one can achieve depends on the structure of their consciousness. Therefore, the core question is not on the elements of the uncontrollable, objective environment, but on the interior quality of the people themselves. Degree: as you approach the mountain, you will learn the tweeting of birds. As you approach the water, you will know the free swimming of fish. As you worship the Buddha, you will acquire the nature of the Buddha. As you seek celestial beings, your dream of becoming one will materialize, plus or minus. As long as we have the will to make premium quality lives, we will realize this ideal unconsciously. It is an imperceptible process. I hope everyone will achieve premium quality lives. The ways to obtain joy, happiness, freedom, and blessing. Xiefeng, June 15, 2010. We yearn for a joyful, happy, free, and blessed life. We pray for a joyful, happy, free, and blessed life. But how can we make our wish become reality? First, we should grasp the tenet, that is, we should hold in respect and awe the greatest creator, life, and nature, and should follow the way of the greatest creator. This is the precondition for the accomplishment of our aspirations. Secondly, we should get rid of contention, fight, comparison, jealousy, complaint, and possession, and try our best to be free from an ego, a personality, a being, a life, a dharma, a non-dharma. Our mind should not reside anywhere but blend with nature. We should also understand that the process of life is a game, and we should be good at playing games. The above requirements are the basic guarantee for the achievement of joy, happiness, freedom, and blessing. However, simply meeting the above requirements is not enough. We must also pay attention to the way to achieve these goals. One can only get joy from living in the collective that shares the frequency and resonance. One cannot get joy by living alone. Neither can one get joy from living with people that do not share the same frequency with you. Therefore, we should seek the group that share our frequency and resonate with us. We should work, study, play games, and live with them. Happiness derives from labor and creation. A lazy person that does not work and create shall never understand what happiness is. Only those who engage them actively in work and creation can experience the feeling of happiness in their own labor and creation. Freedom does not fall from the sky, and thus should be earned through earnest endeavors. Freedom is not given by anyone. Instead, one should protect his right endowed by heaven. One should say, degree no, plus or minus firmly and resolutely when the freedom of one's soul, spirit, and flesh is restricted by a theory, a sermon, a way of thinking, a program, a system, an individual, or a group of people. Degree freedom is the most precious thing in life, plus or minus. If you lose freedom, you subject yourself to the status of a slave who has no freedom. One should pay a cost for the obtainment of freedom. It would only be lunatic ravings to wish for the gain of freedom effortlessly. Without great affliction and hard tempering, it is very difficult to march from the realm of necessity to the realm of freedom. Blessing is derived from unselfish devotion. The more unselfish devotion one makes, the more blessing he will have. A selfish and self-centered person who only lives for himself all his life will never experience the feeling of blessing. The person who devotes himself unselfishly to the blessing of mankind and all lives is the most blessed person in the world. The more unselfish service one renders, the more blessed he will be, and the less unselfish service one renders, the less blessed he will be. Let's forge ahead and make our way to the life realm of joy, happiness, freedom, and blessing. Making effort to cultivate an integrated and independent consciousness. Shuifeng, May 12, 2011. Translated by Treasure and edited by Care. Self-harmony is the supreme realm of self-cultivation. In order to achieve it, one must have an integrated and independent consciousness, and practitioners need to cultivate their own ones continuously. When your own consciousness is no longer influenced or interfered with by the consciousnesses of fellow humans, yours will have achieved self-consistency, namely Tathagata. Then the most beautiful stage of life will be unveiled. Contradictions, conflicts, annoyances, pains, anxieties, and sorrows come mostly from incomplete and dependent consciousnesses. That is, when you do not have an integrated and independent consciousness, you will be caught in dilemmas, vacillation, risky recklessness, and be lost in those aforementioned maladies. When you encounter problems but have no idea how to deal with them, you should listen to the words and advice of others. But it is easy to become confused, injure yourself, or even follow the wrong path. This would result from your lack of an integrated and independent consciousness. Having your own opinion on everything will allow you to know how to deal with all affairs, and your life will be left with few regrets. The more that you depend on the outside, the more you will be influenced and controlled by outside consciousnesses, the more passive you will be, and the more you will become slaves and vassals to other consciousnesses. As a result, you will not find your true self, and your nature of origin will be submerged. Not to mention becoming a celestial being or achieving Buddhahood, it would even be difficult to conduct yourself as a person. How could your life not be painful? The difference between slaves and slave owners is that slaves do not have their own integrated and independent consciousnesses, but slave owners have their own relatively integrated and independent consciousnesses. There is a pet phrase, following people's advice and bread will be coming, which is not only a bait from slave owners to slaves, but also words that those who have relatively integrated and independent consciousnesses say to those who lack them and remain undecisive on everything. Adhering to one's own opinion, insisting on one's own ways, remaining stubborn and rigid, and sticking to dogma are not expressions of integrated and independent consciousnesses. The so-called integrated and independent consciousness shows that one's own values, outlook on life, and outlook on the universe conform to the way of the greatest creator. On this basis, one can handle all affairs on their journey through life without being influenced or interfered with by others' consciousnesses. So, how do we cultivate integrated and independent consciousnesses? Understand the origins of the universe, of life, of humanity, and their moving and their revolutionary trends. Understand the values, meanings of life, the principles of life and its evolutionary program. Understand roughly Tao's features and operating mechanism, the laws of the universe, including causality, and that the sum of negative and positive energy always equals zero. Understand the main meaning of the way of the greatest creator. Understand the meaning and mystery of space, especially 20 parallel worlds and 36-dimensional spaces. Understand the non-material, what lies within it, its values and effects, and the non-material world. Have a clear picture of your own condition and the direction of your efforts over time. Able to observe human society from a higher perspective. Understand its operating mechanism and its advantages and disadvantages. One is unable to cultivate an integrated and independent consciousness until they have finished these 8 courses. They might form an independent consciousness, but without integrity, it would be flawed, go to extremes easily, be blind and even harmful, and lead easily to despotism and dictatorship. Concentrate on the main point. Once the key point is grasped, everything else will fall into their proper places. After finishing the 8 courses above, one will have a clear mind and their own opinion for dealing with everything. Then, the boundless universe will no longer be complicated and unfathomable. The journey of life will no longer be full of confusion and hardships, and the path of life will no longer be a cycle of rebirths. Most of the injuries that we suffer in our lifetimes are caused by our relationships with other people, and the direct reason is that we do not have integrated and independent consciousnesses. The conflicts of consciousnesses between people are the greatest conflicts and problems in life. To reduce them, we should begin by having consciousnesses that are integrated and independent. Then we should be free from the influence and control of others as far as possible. Only then will we be able to finally unite with Tao and achieve complete self-harmony. Life Genuine is the final course for people, and Chanyuan celestials who fully comprehend the meaning of Life Genuine stand on the summit of human wisdom. No one can guide them further because they have acquired integrated and independent consciousnesses gradually and know how to deal with all affairs by taking the way of the greatest creator. Even I, their guide, would have no more influence over them because we gradually become the same, resonating in harmony to the same frequency, and the problem of interplay or interference will no longer exist. This is why I always stress that I am just a guide, not a master or a savior of humanity, because we are ultimately equal and independent of each other. I expect that all of you will make the effort to cultivate and form your own integrated and independent consciousnesses as soon as possible, to be free from the bondage, shackles, and control of the consciousnesses of others, and to leave the kingdom of necessity for the realm of freedom. Pass through the fuzzy swamp. Xiefeng. March 30th, 2020. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Care. Yesterday, I proposed that if something is not helpful, then it is harmful, but if it is harmless, then it is beneficial. Then I asked everyone to help verify whether my proposition is true. As a result, there were many different opinions and no consensus. Where is the problem? It lies in the fuzzy area. That is, it is impossible to determine whether it is or is not, or whether it is right or wrong. The fuzzy zone is more correctly a fuzzy swamp. Your judgment can easily be trapped, which makes you choose wrongly. In fuzzy swamps, it is difficult for us to know what is bright or dark, up or down, forward or backward, correct or incorrect, right or wrong, beautiful or ugly, good or evil, dead or alive. In fuzzy swamps, Taiji thinking loses completely its effectiveness and there are no opposing parties. It is a fuzzy zone, a state of chaos. It is like Schrödinger's cat, impossible to know whether the cat is dead or alive. It is a roll of the dice, impossible to determine whether it will be heads up or tails up. It is gambling, Impossible to know whether it will win or lose. It is a Mobius strip. You cannot tell the front side from the back side. When it is impossible to make a judgment about a phenomenon, a thing, or an event, it shows that we are in a fuzzy swamp in which we either run around blindly or wait patiently. In human life, when we are faced with a choice, we often enter a dilemma. What should we do? Should we continue in a relationship or end it categorically? Should we go abroad or stay put? Should we keep our secure job or to start a new business? Is it better to rent a house or to buy one? Is it better to follow Buddhism or Christianity? Should we run away from home or stay in the same place where we have always been? Should we have noodles for dinner or pancakes? Is it better to wear casual clothes or a suit? Such situations make it difficult to choose because we are in fuzzy swamps. There is a period of time between dusk and nightfall which is a fuzzy zone that can also be called a buffer zone or a transition zone. We cannot say that the sky is dark or bright. We can only say that the sky is not quite either. In this vague area, my proposition, if it is not helpful, it will be harmful. If it is harmless, it will be beneficial, plus or minus, does not hold because we cannot figure out whether certain things, people, opportunities, or viewpoints are harmful or beneficial. The duration of a fuzzy zone can be as short as a few seconds, such as the rolling of dice, as long as several decades, such as self-cultivating to attain Tao, or even a whole lifetime, such as life and death. These fuzzy zones are swamps. In our lives, it is easy for us to be trapped in them and lose our way, which consumes our precious time and energy and ruins our bright futures. In my opinion, the so-called degree all living beings, plus or minus, refers to people who have been trapped in fuzzy swamps all their lives, being busy all their lives and knowing neither where they came from nor where they are going and not knowing the true meaning of their behavior. They can only be like duckweed on a lake, swept up and down by the waves of the times, chasing the wind with confused thinking and minds as transient illusions or passing clouds. They do not know what they are doing on any day. I have observed these sentient beings in WeChat groups. Most of them are confused and are just messing around or being taken advantage of and killing their spare time. I have also observed the articles reposted in the Degree Friends, Moments, plus or minus. From the articles reposted by anyone, you can see their virtue, sentiment, and cultivation, and know whether or not they are in a fuzzy swamp. When we are in fuzzy swamps, we need to remain calm and not decide anything. But one thing that we must do is to keep a close eye on the direction to which we are going, because when we are in a fuzzy swamp, we will not even know when we can reach our destination. It is just because of this that we are easily confused, slacken off, decadent, taking the wrong direction, or expending energy on goals that are opposite to our direction, which will ultimately lead to our failure even on the verge of success. For example, I started to learn English by myself in 1979. My method and direction of learning English was to travel abroad. From then on, I kept studying every day of every month, every year, never missing a single day, except for New Year EAS Eve and New Year ES Day. However, I never knew, even if I could go abroad, where my opportunities would be. This continued for more than 14 years, during which the cynicism and blow to my confidence never ceased. And during this time, I was actually in a fuzzy swamp. However, because of my continuous persistence of focusing on my target, I finally passed through the fuzzy swamp in 1993, reached my destination, and realized my wish to go abroad. Along this course, I once changed my direction. I went to study Chinese at Lantau Institute of Education, and after one semester, I found that something was very wrong. Mastering Chinese was irrelevant to my going abroad, so I decidedly switched from the Chinese department of Lantau Institute of Education to the English department of Zhochuan Institute of Education and continued to study English. Had I continued with my Chinese studies, the direction and goal that I had set in my heart in 1979 would have fallen through, and all my previous efforts would have been in vain. I spent more than 14 years traversing through a fuzzy swamp. My purpose of talking about fuzzy swamps is to tell all Chanyuan Celestials that your goal after becoming a Chanyuan Celestial is to become a celestial being, to go to the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, or the Elysium Celestial Islands continent. Before reaching your destination, you are immersed in fuzzy swamps constantly. Although you have been self-improving and self-refining for several years or even decades, you feel that there is no obvious change. You make no improvement in sublimation. Every day seems to be the same as the day before and the day before that, and you still have a lot of difficulty and confusion to overcome before you. At this time, your confidence can be shaken easily and your faith can be blasted heavily. But please remember my example of learning English. It is only by continuous persistence, patience, and hard work to light up the sacred lamp in your heart and with the perseverance of never straying from your path toward reaching heaven that you will pass through the fuzzy swamp and reach your glorious end goal. In fact, the above principles apply to all people who want to realize their innermost goals. Whenever you are in a dilemma, it is a fuzzy swamp. Just give up your judgment first and make your unremitting effort by biting the bullet and persevering toward your fixed direction and goal. Then, after 3 years, 10 years, or maybe even 80 years or a lifetime, so long as you stick to it, you will be able to cross your personal fuzzy swam and reach the ideal shore. Man proposes, but the greatest creator disposes. As long as you stick to it, rubbing ropes against wooden boards will eventually cut into them. The meaning and level of freedom. Xiefeng. May 22, 2012. Translated by Jiejing and edited by Care. Like an eagle soaring freely in the high and empty blue sky. Like a steed galloping across the endless grasslands. Free to sway freely and bloom with neither boundaries nor fetters. Travel through the vastness of time and space at will. The pursuit of freedom comprises the unremitting efforts and the ultimate pursuits of all beings in the universe. Live free or die was the cry for freedom pursued by the American statesman Patrick Henry in his speech to the Virginia Parliament in order to gain independence from British rule in North America nearly a quarter millennium ago. The original meaning of the sentence from France was, "Set me free or kill me." Life is precious, but love is more expensive. Yet if it is for freedom, then both can be discarded. This is from the Hungarian poet Petőfi Sándor's Freedom and Love, from his Degree A Song of Liberty, plus or minus 180 years ago in order to get rid of the slavery of the Austrian Empire. Freedom, you are the most beautiful flower in the forest, the eagle that spreads its wings high, the rushing river that flows without restraint, the boundless blue sea and waves, and the heaven of bliss. In your arms, there is neither fear nor worry, but only security for prevention, and there are no fetters, only the flirtatious splendor of Tathagata's nature. Freedom is the most holy and most desirable, the most charming and fascinating, the sexiest and most inspiring, and the most solemn and dignified. What is freedom? Freedom is to do as you please without breaking the rules. Freedom is to fully bloom the nature of Tathagata. Freedom is to do what you want without interfering with others in society and without harming nature. Freedom is to release the breath of love without interference or obstruction along the way. Freedom is to gallop freely in the boundless time and space without shackles, constraints, or fetters. Freedom is the greatest creator's gift of a natural right to life. In a free life, there is no trouble, pain, anxiety, or sorrow, let alone any fears, anxieties, precautions, or worries. Within a free life are only happiness, joy, and comfort, and only carefree, elegant, wonderful, and infinite relaxation. There are 3 levels of freedom. The first level, better to barter empty fame. For the pleasures of good wine and sweet song in a straw cloak, I spend my life in mist and rain, in the dreamy shades of apricot flowers, in the spring that seems boundless, singing and playing the flute till dawn. The second level, I see 1,000 hills crimson through, by their serried woods deep dyed and 100 barges vying. Over crystal blue waters, eagles cleave the air. Fish glide through the deep blue water. Under freezing skies, 1,000,000 creatures contend in freedom. The third level, jumping out of the 3 realms, not in the 5 elements, freely travel around the whole earth. How to achieve the 3 levels of freedom? Being above the common and free from vulgarity, we can reach the first level of freedom where we can enjoy the wonderful movement given by nature and tranquility. making the world peaceful and warm. We can reach the second level of freedom where everyone can be Yao and Shun. Outside the pavilion, along the ancient road, the grass is green. Wherever you go, it is indescribable, and you are high from mountains and rivers. Listening to the teachings of gods, Buddhas, immortals, and saints, and walking the way of the greatest creator, you can achieve the third level of freedom, where you can raise a handful of sand and transform it into thousands of green trees, gallop freely in the universe, and absorb infinite beauty. Long live freedom. Let us sway in the youthful time, play to the youthful music, walk out of the kingdom of necessity, and move toward the kingdom of freedom. I know the road to freedom. Come with me, hold my hand as we run to the free hills to sing and dance, to enjoy the beautiful mountains and rivers, and to enjoy the endless, most wonderful time of life and of life. May 22nd, 2012. Live to the extreme. Exert to the extreme. Xiefeng. September 23rd, 2018. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Peter. Feel whether you are dead. If you are not dead, there is always hope, and there is still a chance to dance a tango on the edge of death. Not long ago, a Huang and I and a Danish couple went to the Lac La Hatch Park to pick mushrooms. A Huang and I ate the mushrooms. We did not dare to share them with the guests. At about 2:30 in the middle of the night, the mushrooms' toxic effects broke out. We vomited violently, felt dizzy, and had diarrhea. We considered that the cost of going to the hospital was too high and we could not afford it, so we did not call an ambulance. On the one hand, we rescued ourselves. On the other hand, we were prepared for death. We forcibly drank a lot of salt water and randomly vomited and excreted. Unexpectedly, we returned to peace at 4:30, and we did not die. I was tired and wanted to sleep, but thinking that I needed to make breakfast for the guests in the morning, I didn't sleep anymore for fear that I would have overslept. I was still alive. Didn't die. I was so happy and fortunate. Compared to death, it's no big deal losing several hours of sleep. I've watched movies such as Into the White, Survival of the Jedi, Hacksaw Ridge, and so on. Thinking about myself now, I am so happy. Every day there is food to fill my stomach, and there is a house to live in. I have eyes to see, legs to walk on, hands to work with, a mouth to talk with. I am so fortunate and happy. About my age, it's just over 60. That I have lived safely to the age of 60 is already a great blessing and great good fortune. Thank God. Thank heaven. What is the rest of my time to be used for? Wholeheartedly and selflessly for the benefit of this world. Live to the extreme, exert to the extreme. Since I didn't die, then I should make breakfast for the guests. The soldiers trained by the American West Point Military Academy are brave and good at fighting. It is said that the West Point Military Academy has a famous BEAST program, which is a series of cruel training exercises of human nature, physiology, psychology, and intelligence. 1/5 of the students who have undergone rigorous selection cannot stand the training of wild beasts and are eliminated. Those who can persist are the best among the soldiers because they bring human nature to the extreme. Looking back, have I lived to the extreme? Did I live out my value? I am ashamed to say that I did not. I have wasted a lot of precious time. I have been living in a situation of having adequate food and clothing without any great tribulation. My daily time is not fully used for learning, thinking, exploring, studying, struggling, and experiencing. I checked my life accounts and found that before the age of 35, I spent my life being muddle-headed without any achievements. Although at the age of 18, I served as the party branch secretary of the Village Production Brigade and managed the affairs of 11 villages for 3 years, it was basically mediocre. There are no highlights to show off. At the age of 36, my life started to have a little bit of color. I was then working as an interpreter for a project in Zimbabwe, Africa. It was worth mentioning that for more than a year, there were no holidays, no weekends, and I worked more than 10 hours every day. The most exciting time there was one night when there was no moonlight, only starlight. I drove a dilapidated Jeep, the lights didn't work, none of the big or small lights were working, the drive shaft of the car could have easily fallen off, the car did not have a roof, and the steering wheel had excessive free play. Once the car broke down, it couldn't be started again. unless pushed by people or dragged by other vehicles. Therefore, once it was started, I had to make sure it wouldn't stall. Under this kind of night and vehicle conditions, I drove more than 80 kilometers in the African jungle and on the highway. Thinking about it later, it was very thrilling. It was risking with my life. It also belongs to the beast training of the West Point Military Academy. I started my own business, opening a company, at the age of 38. My busiest time was when I had 4 shops, a nightclub, a bar, and a fast food restaurant. I would sleep no more than 5 hours a day. To save time, I limited my meal time to 10 minutes. In general, I finished a meal in 5 or 6 minutes to deal with an average of 9 things every day. But I think that I haven't exerted my life to its limit. I should have done more. The more than 10 years of establishing the theoretical system of life at Chanyuan can be regarded as hard work. At least every day, I worked hard. The Chanyuan corpus and Siefeng corpus, with thousands of articles and tens of millions of words, were written by me day and night without wasting any time. But this cannot be considered as living to the extreme, because I just make the best of my time, sleep less, and entertain less. I have no worry about food, clothing, shelter, transportation, life, old age, sickness, and death. There is no suffering, no hardship, and it can be said that it is wonderful. The 10 years of creating the new oasis for life, the second home, with Chanyuan Celestials have been 10 years of enjoyment. Although a new mode of production in life has been created and a bright road has been initiated for mankind, all these have been done in playing and entertainment. There is no suffering, no tiredness, no pain, no great hardship, and it cannot be counted as having lived to the extreme of human nature. If there is something that we can show off, it is the 9 picturesque and Xanadu-like homes that we have created, which were then destroyed because of the government's incomprehension, misunderstanding, and misinterpretation. We were driven out of the homes. Our 26 million funds disappeared in smoke. We, 150 people, had no houses to live in, no food to eat, and most of our daily supplies were gone. We went on the road of vagrancy. There was nothing left. In this case, we did not complain about the heaven, the earth, the government, nor did we petition, raise banners, whine, protest, march, rebel, or do anything to harm others, society, or nature. We did not sink into negative and pessimistic emotions. We licked our wounds and not only survived miraculously, but also lived very happily. In this regard, we lived out our natural and unrestrained lives and lived to the extreme. How could we do this? Because we are grass. Chanyuan Celestials are grass. Boundless grasses across the plain come and go with every season. Wildfires never quite consume them. They are tall once more in the spring wind, plus or minus. In fact, even if the spring wind does not blow, even if the wind is cold, the grass won't die, because the grass will live to its extreme, will exert itself to the extreme. Only those who have gone through hardships alive, still struggling for a better future, are qualified to talk about life, ideals, to discuss scriptures and Tao. Only those with a strong heart are qualified to talk about life, ideals, and to discuss scriptures and Tao. Only those who have lost all material security but still love life, and love nature, are qualified to lead mankind to a better era. Only those who serve the people wholeheartedly, can tolerate everything, and possess universal values are qualified to lead humankind to a better life. Even if the entire group is annihilated, as long as there is one person, as long as he is a Chanyuan Celestial, he will still hold the banner of the new era and guide mankind towards the peak of life and life without hesitation, without retreat. To enter the Siefeng-style communist society, globally, every Chanyuan Celestial himself is a light that will shine, will live to the extreme, will exert to the extreme. With too many worries, one cannot travel very far. Siefeng. October 27, 2022. Translated by Chinyu. Edited by Peter. Life is a journey, and the purpose of that journey is to experience life. The farther you travel, the richer and more profound your experience will be. The lower the life, the simpler the experience, such as with earthworms. The higher level the life, the richer the experience, such as with God. To experience more, we need to travel far, and the farther the journey, the better. The journey of Chanyuan Celestials is the longest journey in the history of humankind. They travel from the human world to the thousand-year world of heaven, then to the 10,000-year world, and finally they will reach the celestial islands continent of the Elysium world. With such long distance travel, if there are too many worries with you, then you will never realize this ideal. Historical experience can never solve today's actual problems. No matter how much knowledge you may have, no matter how high your IQ is, you will never know what will change tomorrow. Rational analysis can never know what changes will happen tomorrow. If we stay at home and don't set off on this journey, this distant journey will only be a dream. Starting out all depends on your courage and faith. If you lack courage, you dare not step out of your house. If you lack faith, you cannot overcome the difficulties that you will encounter on this journey. When traveling for a long distance, your luggage should not be too heavy. If we want to think about the difficulties we will encounter on the journey and then bring all the equipment and gear that we may need to overcome them, it will be difficult for us to move forward with such a heavy load, and we will become exhausted along the way. With overly heavy tangible luggage, one cannot travel far, and the invisible luggage is also too heavy to travel very far with. I once invited a friend to open a restaurant in Harare, and the friend had many concerns, saying, "What if I get seriously ill? What if the business fails? What if my parents in China get sick? What if I have no pension in the future? What should I do if you don't help me at the critical moment? What if that country's policy changes? What if my wife can't stand the loneliness in China and runs away with someone else? Plus or minus," I said, "forget it." After determining your direction and destination, take the first step at first. After the first step is taken, then take the second, third, fourth, and nth steps. Think about the third and the fourth step before the first step is taken, not to mention what difficulties you will encounter when you reach the nth step. If you want to wait until everything is ready before you start, you can only wait until your youth is gone, your temples become gray, your teeth fall out, and you become stooped. However, when you are not far from the grave, will you still have the courage to start? There are plenty of fish in the sea. Each place has its own way of supporting its own inhabitants. If you live on a mountain, you live off the mountain. If you live by the water, you live off the water. When the east is dark, the west will be bright. If it is dark in the south, there will be light in the north. Although I have not done the statistics, only one thing is certain: far more people starve and die from their frustrations at home than on the road. If we want to take care of everything and are not willing to leave anything behind, we can only stay where we are, and we will never see the distant scenery, let alone reach the ideal destination. Strength is the guarantee of dignity. Xiefeng, November 14th, 2022. Translated by Qin Yu, edited by Peter. Being respected and not being insulted by others, no one dares to insult you, proves that you have dignity. If no one respects you, and you are often bullied, that proves that you have no dignity. Living with dignity is the instinctive desire of human beings, so how do we obtain dignity? The king of hell has dignity because he has strength. Nobel Prize winners have dignity because they have strength. Bill Gates and Musk have dignity because they have strength. The President of the United States has dignity because he has strength. The powerful the strength, the higher is the value of dignity. Without strength, there is no dignity. The more that people respect you, the greater the value of your dignity. Without respect, there is no dignity. To be respected by people depends entirely on one's own strength. Strength is earned by actions, not by words. You can't accumulate strength just by mere talk, but by your actions. Strength is a kind of potential energy, which is daunting and commands respect. Strength is a kind of internal power, and it cannot be won through quarrels and squabbles. Strength has nothing to do with interpersonal relationships. Just as immunity has no bearing on interpersonal relationships, strength is also unrelated to them. Hence, one cannot acquire strength by resorting to flattery, fawning, and self-demeaning behaviors to project oneself as a good person. Strength has nothing to do with status. Respect is an expression of emotion from the heart. If you have status, people will not dare to offend you, but they may despise you in their hearts. Therefore, even if you become a president, if you lack strength, people will ridicule and despise you behind your back. So relying on status alone does not necessarily lead to a dignified life. Just because people nod and bow and flatter you doesn't necessarily mean that you have dignity. Soldiers point guns at people, and cruel officials use power to suppress people, but in their hearts, people will not respect soldiers and cruel officials. How do you develop strength? First, you accumulate rich connotations through learning. One who is filled with knowledge always behaves with elegance. The second is practice, which is to embody one's own connotation with realistic images, and the last is its application, to benefit others. The more that people have benefited, the stronger the proof, the stronger the respect one has gained. The more skilled you are, the more powerful you are. If you play the flute well, play the arrow well, grow vegetables well, do a good job of cleaning and sanitary work, produce more high-quality products, teach well, treat diseases, and save lives in a timely and effective manner, and can lend a helping hand to save lives at critical moments, make vigorous efforts to turn the tide, and so on. These are all ways to save and gain strength, and you will be respected by other people and will live with dignity. Character is also a manifestation of human strength. If you have an excellent character, you will be respected by people and live a dignified life. So, what exactly is strength? The answer is that any connotation and quality that a person possesses that can win people's respect comes from strength. As long as one has strength, he will live with dignity. Without strength, one cannot live with dignity. Blessings to the unmarried. Xiefeng, June 14th, 2023. Edited by Qin Yu. If you are unmarried and have no intention of getting married, I bless you. You will surely attain happiness in life and a bright future of life. The institution of marriage is a design of the devil, aimed at dragging people into hell. Angels entering into marriage can turn into demons, and human nature is distorted through marriage. The majority of human suffering in society originates from marriage, and most of life's unhappiness comes from marriage. Marriage is ugly. Marriage is a calamity. Marriage is a catalyst for jealousy, comparison, selfishness, strife, corruption, and narrow-mindedness. Marriage is an incubator of troubles, pain, anxiety, sorrow, anger, discontent, and resentment. Marriage is the birthplace of familial, racial, and national conflicts. Marriage is an obstacle and resistance to the elevation of human life quality to heavenly realms. Christ Jesus tells us, in heaven, there is neither marrying nor giving in marriage. The fundamental reason why heaven is beautiful lies in the absence of marriage. To enjoy the beauty of heavenly life, one must never enter into marriage. Imagine, if you enter into marriage, what would you do if the other person has personal flaws? What if they have bad habits? What if they have a tendency for violence, unreasonable behavior, extreme selfishness, a volatile and irritable temper, lack of hygiene, vanity, socializing excessively, being suspicious, having a strong possessiveness, not allowing you to interact with the opposite sex, and constantly nagging in your ear, always finding fault with you? What will you do? Either endure it for a lifetime or get a divorce, but whether enduring or divorcing, both are painful and tragic in life. Life is short. In the blink of an eye, it is a lifetime. Why bind yourself with others? Whether in heaven or on earth, freedom is the most precious. Where there is freedom, there is paradise, and where there is no freedom, there is hell. Binding yourself to others will undoubtedly result in the loss of freedom, which is not worth the trade-off. Human history is a chronicle of suffering, and everyone's life upon entering marriage is a contract of self-sale. When humanity gazes upon the vastness of the cosmos, it is only then that we realize our history is also a chronicle of ignorance. The essence of this ignorance lies in the fact that each person willingly and unknowingly walks into the entangling web of marriage. When sweet love enters the halls of marriage, as time passes by, the beautiful wishes gradually settle into the riverbed of years. The efforts and aspirations to change the other person eventually fade away like illusions. Hope turns into disappointment, disappointment turns into despair, and ultimately, one enters the bottomless abyss of reincarnation with endless remorse and regret. When we look up at the vastness of the cosmos, we find a place in the Milky Way galaxy where people live without marriage. Everyone loves and cares for each other, living in harmony and peace. The mountains and rivers are beautiful, and there are abundant natural resources. Everyone relishes the joys of being alive and the fortunate blessings of destiny, with boundless yearning and anticipation for a bright future. That kind of life is the life that Earth's humanity should emulate. That is the direction of human development, and that planet is the primary form of heaven, the thousand-year world. My blessing to the unmarried is, you will eventually enter the heavenly realm of the thousand-year world. 逃出情阵, escape the maze of affection. Xiefeng, September 8, 2020. Translated by Qin Yu and edited by Kair. Of the 36 8-diagram arrays, the most difficult one to escape from is that of affection. Everything has affection. All beings have affection, and affection is the rainbow and the best condiment of life. If the sky is affectionate, then the weather will be favorable. If the earth is affectionate, then the grain will be abundant. If people are affectionate, then life will be auspicious and warm. If things are affectionate, then spring forest will abound. Affection is like salt in food. With too little, it will taste dull. In excess, it will be too salty. But if in moderation, then and only then, its flavor will shine. Happy lives are not unfeeling, but must not be trapped in affection. To be unfeeling is worse than to be a beast, but to be trapped in affection is worse than death. Affection can nourish people, but it can also torture them. Once people are poisoned by affection, they will become perverted. They will act like neither humans nor ghosts, but will be unreasonable, hysterical, and maybe even lose their minds eventually. Sort out your mood as you lie in bed. What is the most worrying thing in your life? What has tormented you the most recently? What is the hardest thing for you to give up? What depresses you the most? What concerns you most deeply? What do you want to maintain the most? What do you want to end the most, but are unable to? The answers are always affection. The affection between immediate family members, lovers, friends, classmates, masters and apprentices, teachers and students, comrades in arms, and so forth. Any special relationship that you establish with anyone else will entangle you and might make you worry for your whole lifetime. It will wrap you tightly within it and make you restless for your entire lifetime. This is the maze of affection. Can you escape from this maze? The maze of affection is also the net of affection. Look at fishing nets. People cast their nets into the water, and any fish that enter it and cannot escape will be yanked out of the water and become meals on people's plates. Standing in heaven and watching the world, everyone looks like fish in nets. Those who cannot escape from their nets will become delicacies on the devil's dining table. Do you want to escape from this net of affection? It is hard to do so on your own. To do this, you must rely on the power of authority and the guidance of gods, Buddhas, celestials, and saints, especially the divine powers of Jesus Christ and Buddha Shakyamuni, and the roadmap of the guide. There is very little chance of escaping from it if you try your own way blindly. The most difficult nets to escape are the parents' and children's nets. Who can abandon parents' and children's affection, and are they not monsters if they do? Would they still be human? So, if you do not rely on the power of authority, then you cannot and you will not escape. The second most difficult net is the one of couples' affection. Now, more and more people are not marrying, which means that they can escape from the nets of couples' affection. Many people escape from nets of couples' affection by divorcing. More couples who are sticking to it want to escape but are reluctant to leave or find it hard to escape. In this case, they need the roadmap of the guide even more. The next most difficult one are the lovers' nets between boyfriends and girlfriends, which are also nets of affection that make people enjoy each other so much as to not want to leave each other and be willing to go through fire and water and hurl themselves into flames willingly. Life's joys, sorrows, bitters, and sweets are induced fully in this net of affection, like raging fires moving the earth and frightening heaven. In these nets of affection, most people are unwilling to escape. They will even risk their lives, go to hell, and fight for victory in a flash moment. Even with their heads broken and bleeding, their livers and gallbladders smashed, they will fly desperately like moths into flames. As long as there are people with whom we care about, with whom we miss, and with whom we want to maintain our relationships, we are in a maze of affection. Until the day when we have nothing to care or worry about, with our minds abiding nowhere, our affection filling mountains and rivers, when we always long for the celestial islands, take things as they are, associate with others by following predestined relationships, act in accordance with our natures, and take advantage of opportunities as they arise, then we will not have escaped from our net of affection. How will you feel after escaping from your maze of affection? It will feel like a frog crawling out from the bottom of a well into a pond, a wild horse stuck in silt returning to a prairie, a bird flying out of a cage into an idyllic forest, or a pig jumping out a pig pen and becoming human. The easiest, most direct, effective, and thorough way to escape from a maze of affection is to become a Chanyuan celestial and live in the new oasis for life. From then on, you will no longer establish any special relationship with anyone else, especially by establishing a special love relationship with a member of the opposite sex. From then on, you will follow what is predestined, be open, leave things to fate, be free and unfettered, and enjoy life whatever it brings. When the wind blows through a clump of scattered bamboo, it makes a swishing sound, but as soon as it passes, no sound is left behind and silence reigns itself once more among the bamboo plants. When geese fly over ponds in winter, their reflections are seen on the water, but as soon as they move on, their reflections vanish. Do not be nostalgic for that illusion and do not miss the passing clouds, but fix your eyes on the celestial islands of the Elysium world. Trek and climb. Enjoy the scenery all the way. Never stay and be obsessed with any beautiful scenery. Never let anyone impede your pace forward. Everything will work itself out and you will ascend to the fairy world as it happens. 中华民族离文明还有多远? How far is the Chinese nation from civilization? Xiefeng. December 13th, 2021. Translated by Qinyu and edited by Peter. A person's character, appearance, health, and life trajectory come from genes, and genes determine a person's characteristics. The status quo of the Chinese nation was not formed overnight. The status quo is an accumulation of history and culture, appearance is determined by the essence, and the status quo is the inheritance of the past. So, how far is the Chinese nation from civilization? Let us first look at what civilization is. Civilization has the following 9 characteristics. All workers can live and work in peace and contentment without worrying about food, clothing, shelter, and transportation. The old will be looked after properly and the young will be well educated. The government is a servant to all citizens, not a manager, let alone a ruler. The people not only have the freedom to move within the country, but also have the freedom to move abroad, the freedom to speak, express different views, and the freedom of belief and association. In private spaces, wind can enter, rain can enter, the king cannot enter, and other people cannot enter at will without the owner's permission. Citizens are not deprived of private property created and accumulated by diligence and wisdom. Property is protected by legislation. The poor have the ladders and channels for promotion, the hope of living, and the desire to pursue a better life. Animals are not harmed at will, especially wild animals. Everyone reveres life and nature. Craftsmen, technicians and engineers, artists, inventors, experts, teachers, doctors and workers from all walks of life are respected and loved. Other nationalities are treated kindly, other countries are not attacked in the name of national interests, others' shortcomings are not contrasted to your advantages, and others' advantages are not envied because of your shortcomings. The above 9 points are the signs of a national civilization. You can calculate how far the Chinese nation is from civilization based on your own feelings and the current situation. About Xiefeng. Early life. Xiefeng was born in 1957 and grew up on a farm in Gansu Province, China. His father was a very firm believer in and practitioner of communism, and his mother was a kind-hearted and hardworking farmer. As a child, Xiefeng attended temple with his mother to worship Chinese gods, including the Earth God, King of Dragon God, Erlang God, and others. He learned Taoism from his grandmother, Buddhism from his mother, Islam from a Muslim colleague, and Hindu from some Indians. Xiefeng spent his early years in China and had various occupations including being a technician, an English teacher, and a statistics officer. A state company sent him to work as an interpreter in Zimbabwe during the 1990s. Before founding Life at Chanyuan, Xiefeng was self-employed and had several shops plus a restaurant in Harare, the capital and largest city in Zimbabwe. Spiritual awakening. His enlightening experience began after a car accident in Zimbabwe. One day, after he had been driving for many hours on a highway, he fell asleep and crashed his car into a big milestone near a cliff. Magically, incredibly, he survived without any injuries. He did not understand how he could have survived because if his car had gone in only a slightly different direction, it would have rolled over the cliff and he would have died instantly. After that experience, he felt that his old, secular life had died in that car accident, but that his new, spiritual life belonged to some degree God, plus or minus. He began questioning the meaning of his life as he gradually lost interest in his businesses. He then spent 3 years learning the Bible from Jehovah's Witnesses, occasionally joining them at Degree Kingdom Hall, plus or minus services. However, he eventually felt that he had not found all his answers from that source. For many years, he practiced Qigong every night in order to maintain his health. Moment of Epiphany. Without finding the answers from Jehovah's Witnesses, Xiefeng continued his way seeking for truth in the theory of Buddhism, Taoism, and other philosophies from Chinese ancient wisdom, modern science discovery to meditation on nature phenomena. Then it happened at one night of 1999, when he was reading the Diamond Sutra, he suddenly understood everything. The mysteries of the origin of the universe and humanity, time and space, and what life is, unraveled and became crystal clear to him. An invisible divine force compelled him to write all his discoveries on paper, and that is where Xiefeng Corpus and Chanyuan Corpus came from. Chanyuan Corpus and Xiefeng Corpus. In June 2001, Xiefeng terminated his businesses in Zimbabwe gradually and began writing articles for Chanyuan Corpus and Xiefeng Corpus. From 2001 to 2017, Xiefeng has written nearly 3,000 articles describing the construction of the Life-Chanyuan value system, including the profound truth of the universe, life, time, space, consciousness, non-material structure, and energy, as well as the way to create a new production and life mode for people and guidance articles to help Chanyuan celestials purify their soul gardens and sublimate their life qualities on the self-cultivation way. In 2010, Chanyuan Corpus and Xiefeng Corpus were published formally through the Hong Kong International Culture Press with the first 1,000 sets of 10 books. Life-Chanyuan column articles on Buoxuan website have reached 12,880,000 hits as of the end of 2017. Note: Buoxuan is the most visited website for political commentary and social reporting among the ethnic Chinese population of North America. New Oasis for Life. In 2009, Xiefeng returned to China and founded Degree, the second home of Life-Chanyuan, plus or minus, now New Oasis for Life, community. It had been developing quite well, with more than 150 members on 3 farms in Yunnan province. In January 2017, in anticipation of a promising future, Xiefeng changed the community's name to Degree New Oasis for Life. As the founder of Life-Chanyuan, Xiefeng sees that his role is the spiritual guide to reap the ripe crops, initiate and develop the new production and life mode for the new era, and guide Chanyuan celestials to climb the highest realms of life and life. I have an ideal. Shuefeng. Translated by Transin Limited and edited by Care. Following the footprints of immortals, sages, oracles, and saints, I have crossed and trekked numerous treacherous mountains and rivers. Roaming all through the wilderness of soul, I have been spreading the message of the greatest Creator. The wishes of God and Buddha and the expectations of oracles and saints have converged to form my ideal, which is as clear and bright as the shining sun and can be food of thought for you to meditate over. Human beings have been trekking along a long path soaked with blood. Jesus and Sakyamuni have revealed to us that in the universe there are many higher spaces of life, and have earnestly and tirelessly admonished us not to go astray from the great road of life. Numberless immortals, sages, oracles, and saints have exerted their utmost effort for the happiness of mankind. Their souls are still shining brightly over us, warning us not to act against the law of nature and wishing us to live a happy life. However, blinded by the dense fog of degree civilization, plus or minus, Mankind has been straying further and further away from the Great Road. I want to kindle a beacon of hope to light up the endless darkness, bringing mankind a ray of hope. I want to create an oasis out of the vast and isolated desert, offering an auspicious and harmonious habitat for life on Earth. I want to build a land of spirit and soul out of the boundless ocean of flaunty material prosperity, leading to the land those people who yearn towards the greatest creator, love life and nature, and possess beautiful human nature and soul, and making them eternally severed from the abyss of sufferings. I will shepherd them safely to the thousand-year world to enjoy the wonderful time of the millennium. The people favored by God and Buddha are still miserably shackled in spirit and soul. In this bustling world overrun with desire for material acquisition, people with a purer and better heart are more prone to spiritual and psychological tortures and cannot afford even a moment of peace and quiet. Every place reeks of putrid smells. What meet the eyes are wickedness and evils that have gone unpunished. Man's tremendous amount of legal articles and religious teachings are powerless to avert the depravity of morality and the prevalence of wickedness. The viciously misleading evil soul and the junk thought have taken up the throne of truth. Despotism has not only caused the loss of personal and spiritual freedom for the governed, but also has caused the governing class to be trapped in the quagmire of desperation, without any hope to obtain the true freedom of life. I want to tell people that the plight of mankind doesn't lie in the material aspect but in the spiritual aspect. The wasteland of spirit and soul is the real source of human suffering. Seeking the homestead for spirit and soul is an urgency for mankind. The blind pursuit of material acquisition is only analogous to quenching one's thirst with poisoned wine or stopping water from boiling by scooping it up and pouring it back. Thus, such acts will cause the ruin of not only the earth, but mankind itself. An era is a demoniac era if the dignity of a person is determined by the amount of money he has earned and the social position he has attained, and if the value of man is not measured by his moral character and good deeds. A society is an evil society if it allows its subjects to become upstart through speculation and plundering instead of getting rich with honest and diligent labor. A government is a despotic and satanic government if it spares no effort to force out new thinking, attempting to lock people in an ignorant and barbarian and savage world. A nation will be one void of wisdom and oriented toward insanity and destruction if it does not advocate dedication and love, but blindly instigates its people to use violence. Man's worry originates partly from ignorance and partly from selfishness. Because of ignorance, we have invited demons in but shut the door against God and Buddha. Because of selfishness, we have chosen wickedness but abandoned righteousness. A lot of good ideals and kind moralities are often snuffed out in the cradle. The desolation of soul is the optimum soil to breed junk thought and religious plague. Today, people are engulfed in information. Television, networks, newspapers and magazines, books and lectures are infusing mountains of information into us, far more than we can digest, thus causing the indigestion, malnutrition, and ill health. The pursuit of knowledge has become a morbid thirst. The more we attempt to swallow down unthinkingly, the less we understand. Various media have become the fertile soil to cultivate ignorance and manic and blind adherence. Having no beliefs, no principles, no wisdom, and no spiritual perception, those literati have made up rancid articles under the pretense of maintaining stability, advocating reform, carrying forward culture, inheriting legacies, publicizing morality, and promoting benevolence, and under the disguise of adhering to belief, cultivating oneself, pursuing freedom, and fighting despotism. They have fabricated so much cultural garbage and so many spiritual drugs that it is impossible to clean them all up. The roughly manufactured scum has become our daily food for thought, which has directly distorted our values, destroyed our human environment, and polluted our pure heart. Having no beliefs, no principles, no wisdom, and no spiritual sense, those literati hangmen worship those rancid articles as classics under the pretense of maintaining stability, advocating reform, carrying forward culture, inheriting legacies, publicizing morality, and promoting benevolence, and under the disguise of adhering to belief, cultivating oneself, pursuing freedom, and fighting despotism. As for those works of wisdom, which shine resplendently with thought, they looked down upon them as heresies and wielded their cultural butcher knife toward them without hesitation. The Chinese people. On the one hand, you have been heaving sighs that China has become a land deserted by the greatest creator. But have you, on the other hand, acquired the broadness of mind to include great wisdom? Can you recognize it when great wisdom really descends from heaven? I have an ideal that the greatest creator may enter China and the human world, that Christianity and Buddhism may regain their prevalence here, and that humanity may be restored on the beautiful land. When conspiracy and tricks prevail over truth, justice is taunted, enthusiasm meets with contempt, reverence for the greatest creator is regarded as ridiculous, oppression and bully are viewed as inviolable power, the hoodwinked masses are meanwhile branded as ignorant, freedom is slandered, life is trampled, right and wrong are reversed, black and white are confused, and good and evil people mixed together. Then in such situations we have no choice but to search the source of life. Only in this way can we pierce through the indistinct murk and see the light. Only in this way can we steady the steer in the turbid and turbulent waves and ultimately reach the ocean of life. In this unusual time of superficial prosperity, when actually crises are lurking everywhere, we are not yet in the position to sing praises of the virtue or merits. At a time when the journey is rough and treacherous, flattery and conservativeness cannot salvage us. Now it is not yet the time when degree the bank of injustice, plus or minus, has gone bankrupt completely. Any non-action and dawdling will only speed up the approach of degree doomsday, plus or minus. We will only eventually lose our beautiful homestead and splendid future if we are only capable of destruction and are incapable of construction, if we don't know how to repay other people as favors and are only bent on vengeance, and if we only want to acquire from others and do not know how to dedicate to others. For many centuries, man's blind behaviors have dug out an abyss, which can engulf us at any moment and thus should be filled up. The sooner it is leveled up, the better it would be. Reverence for the greatest creator and adherence to his road is our only hope, because only in front of the greatest creator can we have equal human dignity. Because we should worship the greatest creator so that our mind can possess soul, our knowledge be transformed into wisdom. And only in this way can we understand the meaning of life and embark on the great road of life. You may lock yourself up in the ivory tower, lose yourself in the piles of broken papers, and engross yourself in the so-called academic research, thus placing yourself outside the social issues. In so doing, you seem to have entered a serene heaven. However, can you expect any egg to remain intact if the nest is overturned? Poke your head inside a cave, leaving your hindquarter exposed and fancying that what is not seen does not exist. Can you derive from your research any great achievements that may do any good to humankind? The unrealistic teaching, or degree truth, plus or minus, that blindly preaches pursuit of happiness of future life is absurd and wicked. A person always wearing a smile is relentless at heart. A person always with tears is cruel at heart. Children are suffering starvation and cannot afford education. The poverty-stricken have no money to treat their diseases. However, we are manufacturing various kinds of luxury products and building one after another lifeless skyscrapers. Isn't this a mockery and blasphemy against life? If our neighbors have no freedom, we ourselves cannot obtain complete freedom. If our brothers are suffering starvation, we cannot swallow the dainty food in our mouths. If people in the remote areas are crying, we will not be able to enjoy quietly the comfort and luxury of big cities. I have an ideal. I will lead those who truly yearn towards the greatest creator to life genuine and transform the jarring hullabaloo into a fraternal movement and play a convivial symphony of life. I firmly believe that mankind can certainly walk out of the dark canyon and the wasteland of spirit and enter an unprecedentedly beautiful field. I firmly believe that soul will prevail over flesh and that people will eventually obtain the freedom of body and mind and the serenity of life. This is not a golden fantasy for the remote future. The majestic tides are surging with mighty momentum. Among their broad bosoms are contained colorful gems that can decorate man's life and make it more noble and beautiful. When the unexpected supernatural incident comes, the mysterious power shall strike people's heartstrings, The vast fields will take on the splendid coating. The polluted rivers will become clear and pure again. The turbid sky will be changed into expanses of colorful clouds, and the free rhythm will reverberate in each inch of the land. Eternal virtue remains with Jesus Christ. Supreme wisdom is ascribed to Sakyamuni. Eternal glory belongs to the greatest creator.